Waffling through the side that you're not good at are done.
You've got a lot of work to go in to get there. And if you're somebody that's going to get your feelings hurt easily, if it doesn't go well, this probably isn't a great game for you.
You know, these dogs have got to hunt to have that experience to be able to handle some of the situations that we get put in.
This is not a young dog game. And if you're going to be good at SRS, you better be good at something else. You better be really good at field trials. You better be really good at hunt tests.
But if you absolutely love training your dog and working with your dog and trying to get better as a team, and you're someone that likes to perform at a high level, then this is a perfect game for you.
They might not be great field trial dogs, and almost every one of them are great hunt test dogs. But all around, from A to Z, these guys are the best.
Where's the rest of it? Yeah. That makes sense. And then they go over there and do, I think they do 12. A lot of those. Especially. You can't leave yet anyway. Hey, you know what? We're here till nighttime. OT it. Great location. Yeah, it could be worse. Don't say that. Somebody's the one that screws you or lies to you. They just lie to you. What's one for NBC? Dateline? Yeah. Nightline will go, oh yeah, it's just one quick interview, maybe a live shot. You get there and like, get ready 5 of these interviews and we gotta get B-roll 2 hours away. And Good Morning America might take it. But I work with John Morales or whatever, I'd work him every day. I really like him. Oh, he's awesome. We met him in Tulsa. Remember the guy guns up. Tulsa? Shot the doctor or something. Anyway, I know he came out. He brought him in from Dallas to do the recording or live shot. So we just hooked it up, made a good fun time, and Jeff and I become friends with him. Here we go, dog. We worked with him in.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We're back here at the 2023 SRS Crown Championship, sponsored by Eukanuba. And, well, we're going to run the second half of the dogs on this double blind from yesterday. Boy, it was really compelling. And conditions are different here. A little bit of fog on the water, little or no wind. The sun's up, a little glary, but it shouldn't pose a problem. It's off to the side, so it shouldn't interfere with the dog seeing the handler or the handler seeing the dog. I don't know quite what the wind is going to do. They thought the wind was going to be totally opposite of yesterday, so they made an interesting move that made a lot of sense, where they decided to run all the amateurs yesterday knowing they couldn't finish, and then all the professionals today, so everybody had the same conditions. That was really a brilliant decision, really. So, all right, well, we're going to run test dog here, and we'll get an idea what this looks like. And again, there's some fog on the water, so it's a little bit difficult to see. I'll tell you the one thing that may make a difference. The sun is at an angle where the poison bird sitting on the shore isn't quite as obvious. Now I can see the white spot, but when the sun was in the other way, it lit up like a beacon. Could be helpful. What's mostly helpful is a dog that wants to behave. So here we go. I think test dog's getting ready to roll. You can bet these 18 handlers have run this blind 40 or 50 times in their brains overnight. I know I would bet them. All right. Oh, they called a note. Well, I guess that's why you run test dog, to get the kinks out of the mechanics. I guess they're going to start over and get everything down just right.
I don't think Tom understands that they mean he's got to stay there all day.
Got a lot of moving parts here. It's been impressive. They haven't had any glitches. You know, they're teaching a new crew of throwers here, and these guys have done a great job of following instructions. And 3 days in and they're still running. That's a good sign. Okay, she's back. Test dog's back in the holding mode. Maybe they're just securing some instructions. Good morning, J. Paul.
Good morning, buddy. Good to be here.
He's back. Yeah, we got test dog coming up. I've said good morning and hello to everybody, and
Did you welcome them all to the 2023
yes, I did, to the
Series Crown Championship?
I tried to follow your lead, and I
There you go, buddy. They're going to replace me.
Irreplaceable you are.
I don't know. You're smarter, more knowledgeable, and better looking, so I wouldn't blame them.
All those are matters of opinion. Okay, well, what do you think this fog is going to do? It's going to hurt visibility a little bit. I'll tell you the one thing I said, J. Paul. Did you notice with the sun at the angle that the poison bird on the second point is not quite as obvious, at least from this distance?
No, you could see the splash, though, as she went to sluice that simulated cripple there. I'm also a little bit concerned about the angle of the sun here this morning. You can see right there, it's kind of in the handler's eyes a little bit. It should illuminate him and let the dog see him, though.
No, and she moves over to the side. I think at least it's not directly behind her or in her face. This is Kerrigan handling. Yesterday she said, I wish I could run test dog. Well, she got her wish.
Tell you, I really enjoyed talking with her a couple of days ago, too, when we got her up on the stage.
You gotta love it. Yeah, just lots of enthusiasm.
And very passionate.
She's trying to get left of that decoy. I'm not sure if she did. There's a real good view of, it's not just getting between the decoys. The cover's heavier there. So, and there's a little hole punched in it, in the cover from dogs from yesterday that had gone through. It might help out.
Got a really nice back there. Dog carried it for quite a while.
Well, can you tell she's having fun? Even when she's casting, she's smiling.
Yeah. Look at this. Ooh. I bet you wish she had that one back.
Well,
good deal. I think he was going to go through
here
there
we go
regardless.
again.
Yeah. And today, look, you can really see the road that leads down there to that gap better, too. I don't know if maybe...
Do you think that's actually a trail into the woods or through the fence?
It looks to me like you can see tire tracks where someone's actually driven down in the dew this morning. Yeah, I definitely think it's a little one track. Probably runs around behind this lake.
Okay, well, She got one down.
After that blind, I bet she's wishing she was running it for
Oh, I
real.
know.
Destiny did a really good job.
Well, one thing that didn't change, the water's still there. The points are still there. You got to do everything they did last night. Wind is not quite established, but the fog's blowing from right to left, but very, very light.
Yeah, materially, I don't think this test really changed. If you take a look at the fog coming off of the lake there, you can see it's just very gently moving from the handler's right to left. So past that second point, you
But
see
the
a
water's
tiny
going
bit
to
of
feel
ripple.
look different. I don't know if it's more intimidating to the dogs with this look. I mean, it's not necessarily, but it's definitely a different look, isn't it?
Yeah, but the cool thing is these judges were wise enough to run all the AMs yesterday, so
Yeah, that was
they
a-
saw that look, and now the pros, while it's a different look from what the AMs had, all of the open dogs are going to see the same thing.
I thought that was brilliant. Okay.
Tell you what, it is a little bit more difficult to see
Well,
the points.
when I say you couldn't see that, no, you can see. You certainly see the white bird there. Ooh. Interesting. Dog turned the wrong way, but didn't really break for the bird.
I'm not sure the dog's seen the bird. I think the dog just turned the wrong way and
Yeah,
had a good
I do
idea.
too, but now I think he sees the bird. But you're getting back online. This is always this gives you so much information. Your right-handed cast here. And that's a compliant dog right there.
Well, Kerrigan really took her time too. I was watching her after she blew that whistle, and she stood there for a good 2 to 3 second count before she gave that cast, and then she gave it
Well,
slow.
And once again, you got to see if this dog stays in the compliant state. She gave a verbal there. Oop, okay,
Your
here we
favorite
go
whistle
again.
right there?
We've seen this before.
Yep.
I would say, Kerrigan, keep the whistle in your mouth. But she got the cast, a beautiful
Nice
cast.
cast.
Oh, she blows another safety whistle. She's going to give another right hand, I would guess.
She's going to give another right
Just
hand.
to
yeah,
keep from losing her around the corner. And once you create a little space between there and the point, you can more safely cast them back into the... But if you try to cast back on line too quick and you lose them behind the point, it can get messy.
I think she was listening to your commentary and taking notes yesterday.
Yeah, she's relaxed a little bit there. Dog's, well, I can see why. Dog's angling right into the blind. Invaluable experience for her. You know, you're up there with a lot of people watching.
Well,
This will really pay off. She's going to be in this situation
yeah, this young
competing
lady's got a
in the
very
next few
bright
years.
future. I know that Kristen and Rhodey at Best Retrievers, they've got a lot of faith on her. They're really high on her, and I can see why. I think she's got a
Ooh.
very bright future.
Now, dog did not acknowledge that bird on the...
You know, and do you see the way the fog
Yeah, I
is
would have
moving?
thought, looking at the... No, she blew us a cut. In that situation, I tell my handlers, I want all 3 blasts of the come in whistle to come out of your mouth before you move. Because if you move and blow the come in simultaneously, the dog sees the movement, and if the dog wants to dig back, it can be troublesome. But that worked out good. Nice job. I think she had fun. So we have 18 dogs.
Yep. 18 to go.
Did we ever time what it took per dog? We're going to find out here pretty quick. It's 8:13 right now.
No, we didn't.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin McDonald. How are you?
For the excellent commentary. I thought of something on my way.
Yes, sir.
Pat would think, "Oh, these dogs have cleaned a lot of toilets." drill work, and more drill work.
Hey, Bobby.
That's what it takes. Well, handlers are passing the tent. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, Lyle.
Lots of anticipation here.
Good morning, Luke. You gonna join us again?
Yes, sir.
All right. I used to say we've got young Luke Kors coming up here, but you about to be a daddy, aren't you?
Right, that's right.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
that's awesome. Congratulations to you. A new crew of bird throwers coming up?
Yeah, that's right. At least one more.
One more, yeah.
As Luke waves at his lovely wife walking by. So when do y'all do?
Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're just trying to make it past this week, and then after that we're fine.
Just don't go into labor today, right?
That's right.
You're pretty smart about it, too. You're not doing it while there's a duck season or
Tried to
anything.
put it in between, but normally that's the week of the crown.
Yeah, that's true.
What is a traditional week for the crown?
Last week of October, but the
Okay.
Master National was that week, and then so she moved it up. But I think now she's going to have it as the last week of October, and it's going to keep it there.
Traditionally, we see the time change during the crown.
Yeah. So it might have a slight interference if anybody's running the National Open, but you should have, depending on where it is, you still have about 9 days after
Would
this
you
ends.
expect them to be back here next year?
Yes.
Yes. So they're here for 7 more years at least, right?
I think 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I know that we are really, really proud of our partnership with the Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana.
Well, they've
Group
really
here. They've
welcomed
been
you.
so
haven't
good. Kerrigan's smiling as she goes by.
they? Great job of handling
Good
that.
job.
Test dog Kerrigan just came by with a big smile on her face.
Destiny seems pretty happy too.
I just mic'd off, but here, look at here. This is this year's National Amateur. This is what I did. These are all interviews and videos I did during the National Amateur.
Wow.
Test dogs, drone views. We kind of tried to do what these guys did. I don't know what I'll do with all of it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting
Got
stuff there.
a lot of stuff to go through, huh?
Anytime you can watch this level of competition.
You ever said y'all want to live stream that? I'd be happy to be your partner in crime there again.
Oh yeah. I think I'm hoping they do something like that. I mean, they need to do it. I can't think you guys doing this, anything that would promote this any better than what you're doing. It's done so well.
There's a couple of chords you gotta watch. There and there. Y'all are on air.
Oh yeah, well we're on the air, but we're just having that chatter that you have before you get started.
I hope we'd been on the air for a little while. We sure thought we had.
That's what's been fun about this. Our discussions have been exactly the discussions I would have sitting with a couple of the professional dog trainers or colleagues, just talking dogs and watching what's going on and speculating on what you would do if you were up there in the box. Conditions haven't changed much. Visibility, were you up online when that test dog ran?
Yeah, you could
see pretty good?
Yeah, you could see very well.
Yeah, it's hard to
The
tell.
camera gets a little bit of a glare from the fog, but when the test dog was running, you could see the dog the whole way. You could see the poison
Good.
bird on the water. Visibility was good. A little bit of fall kind of blew in for just a sec, but
Couple things I think of. I've got a routine that I would do. First of all, I've asked myself when I watch test dog. You want to identify 3 things I look at. How well can I see the dog? Okay, where are the out of sight zones? How well can the dog see me? You're looking at situations like, do I need to move left, right to make myself more visible? And how well can they hear me? Identifying running water areas, heavy cover, zones that you may not be able to get them stopped. Those are the 3 things that I always do. And the other thing I always do is I try to cut my blinds into thirds.
yeah.
Explain that a little bit better.
Okay, so let's look at this left-hand blind. If I was picking, there's the first third of the left-hand blind for me is getting past the poison bird. Once you get between the decoys, through the cover, and you hit that patch of cover there that is between the snow goose and the speckle belly, and they've entered the short grass. That's the first third. The second third is the middle part of this, and you watch the dogs start to hunt a little bit around the second holding blind where the longer poison bird is. Between there and setting them up for getting underneath the structure there, or between the decoys at the end. So the first third gets me past the first poison bird into the short grass. The second third, and it may not be equal thirds, it's just 3 different segments that I think have 3 different characteristics. And the last third for me is always the red zone. Sticking the bird in their mouth, not losing them at the end, and in this instance, finishing the requirements of the judges being between the 2 goose decoys. Water blinds, well, always the first third of a water blind. It seems so obvious. Is getting in the water.
That's right.
You got to get in the water before you do water blinds. So the commitment to get in the water. So getting in the water, that's always the entry until they're committed to swim. Well, then you've got getting over the first point. This may actually be because you've got 2 points to negotiate. But the middle third is probably the biggest part of this blind. The middle third, to me, is once they've casted off the second point, past the second poison bird, and they're committed to swim. That's when the last third, which is just don't screw up the end.
That's right.
Don't miss it on the upwind side.
Yeah.
Don't get sloppy.
Don't wrap the channel.
And just finish the deal. So I always talk about, if I'm coaching people, I say break your blind down into thirds. Don't run the last third before you've done the first third. Sometimes people think so much about what am I going to do to get to the point, they screw it up before they ever get there.
I really like your sports analogy, bringing in the red zone there. I mean, because really and truly, we've seen on both these blinds, the red zone is very, very important. And it is crucial that you finish. We've seen several that were won and lost right there.
So I had to look up the history of what was the red zone. I think it was Joe Gibbs when he was in Washington, right? Mm-hmm.
Redskins, yeah.
He termed it the red zone. And I remember the date and everything, but if you're at all a football fan, the red zone's from the 20-yard line to the goal line. And it's when the complexion of
the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. And by the Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission, teaming up with our community to bring sporting events to Shreveport-Bossier City, Caddo, and Bossier parishes. Margaritaville Resort Casino. Louisiana Tourism, feed your soul. Thor's Boats, drop the hammer.
Splash Super Pools.
And by Lucky Duck Kennels.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
The Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission is here to help you with your amateur, collegiate, professional, or Olympic sporting event. Centrally located in the Arklatex area, Shreveport-Bossier is a premier sports destination, ideal for hosting sporting events of any size. With our wide variety of venues, including stadiums, convention centers, rivers, and universities, we are sure to have the perfect location for any event. Our team is ready to make your event a success. Visit us online at ShreveportBossierSports.com or on Facebook at Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission and let us host your next event.
Two birds of a feather. We flock together every day, and I'll do anything to protect that loyalty. Durable, dependable, and downright dirty. And I'm not just talking about my dog. This 5-star crash test rated kennel is lightweight, secure, and made right here in America. Loyalty goes both ways.
The Splash Super Pool is the original above-ground, soft-sided pool. We've been in business for almost 40 years now. We're still proudly made in the USA, and we've been serving our community in all kinds of ways. They're all testaments as to the strength and the durability of this super pool. And we've been serving the dock diving community for almost 20 years. The pool that they use is the exact same pool that you'll use in your backyard. So just remember, as you're watching these dogs fly through the air, this is the same super pool that you could have in your backyard. Splash Super Pools.
Welcome back to the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. J. Paul Jackson here with my expert commentator and co-host Pat Burns, who's been with us all week long. We've also got Luke Core in the tent with us here. And for those of you just joining us, we're about to start the second half of the third series. Now, yesterday we saw our 18 amateur dogs that advanced from the first two series run this third series, a double poison bird blind. And this morning we're about to have all 18 of our open teams run. We're starting out here running first, lowest or highest score of the 18 coming into this with I think a 113 is Bobby Wills from Greenfield, Tennessee, and Legend. Pat, why don't you take us through the setup here right quick? Tell folks what they're about to see.
Well, okay, you've got a double blind, a land blind that runs alongside of the water, goes underneath the arc of a poison bird, and it's done in a remote cast position. What do we got? We got a little.
We got a no bird.
We got a no bird there. Okay, well that doesn't change anything. You got your dog sits on the mat. Oh, what is he? 10, 15 feet from you?
About so, I'd say so.
And they throw a short poison bird. You blow a duck call. They throw it. You shoot at the bird in the air. Then they throw the longer bird in the water with a splash, and it's on a rope. And you shoot at that, and when it hits the water, they jerk it back to simulate a crippled bird trying to escape. Draws a lot of attention with the commotion in the water. There's a bird laying on the edge of the water, very visible, as if that bird had come back and crippled and laid on the bank. So you run the landblind first, under the arc of the poison bird with a remote cast. Judges want you to go between, there's a cluster of snow goose decoys, about 30, 35 yards out. You go to the right of the right one and left of a speckle-bellied goose decoy, and there's a patch of heavier cover there that really is between that, but makes it a little more difficult to get through there. So that's your first part. And then the landblind goes behind the second one, goes across the field, and you go underneath, I guess I would call it a little shelter with like a shed almost. It's got, and they want you to go between the posts there. So, and then you got to finish. You got to finish this blind. I guess I got a second no bird.
Pat, I hate to interrupt you, but we've had two no birds. Kind of hard to tell watching from the monitor there, but you've got two poison birds that come out. The first one is the land one. Young man you can see running out there to pick it up now. He just ran past that speckle-bellied decoy that you've got to be to the left of, and you can see how tight the throw was. On his first throw, it was the opposite of that. It went too long. It went almost out to the point. And as Pat's going to tell you, the dogs, there are 2 points the dogs have to get on, but that's the reason we had the no bird there. First throw was long, second was short.
Did they give the handler the option to wait or not, or did they dictate it? Because Would you have waited there? I think I would have after watching. Now he's going to watch 3 poison birds in a row.
Yeah, and I think Bobby is going to actually, well, no, he's just planning his dog. As Pat said earlier, this is a remote sit, so the handler's planning the dog. You can see Legend sitting there on the mat. He's about 5 yards away from Bobby, and very realistic hunting situation. We talked yesterday about the fact that a lot of us these days, we actually sit our dogs remotely because the blast of the gun, trying to preserve hearing. I think they're going to let it rock, but that was another throw that was just a little bit long.
Well, I'll tell you what really makes it realistic is the fog in the early morning. This would be when you'd be hunting.
Big splash there as that cripple's trying to get away, and the handlers are instructed to shoot both birds in the air and then fire another shot at that cripple to sluice it as it goes away.
That's a good start there.
Boy, Bobby gave Legend a remote cast. That's the best initial
Not only
line
a good start, a great cast.
This is Legend. Legend is owned by Tommy Smith.
Yes, sir, Mr. Tommy Smith.
And Legend's always has a great year. He's a heck of a dog. He's got a handful of wins under his belt, and him and Bobby are always consistent each year, and that they seem to be here every year that Legend's been running the SRS.
I think Legend saw the judge's instructions because he kind of
That
did
is
all
the
that out of his
best
own.
land blind that we have seen.
Oh my goodness!
There
Well, I tell you what.
may have been a pop in there. I'm not sure. That would be very uncharacteristic of Legend, but regardless, you're looking at 3 or 4 whistles tops.
Yeah. Boy, you love to go up there early and set the bar high.
You
Put pressure on the other hand.
You asked about if they give you the option for the no bird. Generally, after one no bird, if it's a first mark or something, the first bird, and they've only seen one bird, then they'll ask you to come right back. And then after that, generally they'll give you a choice. Bobby's pretty sportsman-y, and he doesn't like to shuffle the running order if he doesn't have to. He wants to give that guy that got a lower score the respect, and also Bobby likes to put the pressure on you, so he wants to run in front of you.
Well, he put the pressure on the landmine. If he can match that in this water blind, he's obviously going to certainly set the standard. Well,
I'll tell you, Legend has the talent to do it for sure. Yeah, Legend's just been plagued by a little bit of inconsistency. Let's see if he's on his game.
he didn't
today.
waste any time there, and he got the right line. Well, remember, we talked about the 3 parts. The first part is getting in the water.
He's got him good and wet.
And he didn't fool around. He made sure he got in.
Now, there's a decoy that Legend is about to pass, and the judge has instructed that you have to be past that decoy before you get on land.
There's a double whistle.
I'm not sure if it was a double whistle or a pop. Good cast right there, though, regardless.
I'm not going to jinx him, but he's been textbook up to this point.
That is a great place to be. Bobby's sitting there waiting out.
Boy, I always like my dogs in that situation to almost think they're going by the point because they're really in a disciplined commitment to swim to the end state of mind. And I like to tell them when to get on, not let them volunteer to get on. And that's what you're seeing here. Boy, well, he's using that double. Boy.
I think he's having trouble seeing the dog when they get back there in that dark background.
Man, that's a good place to be right there.
Well,
smart double whistle.
Is it or is it? I see the wake. Do we see the dog yet?
Yeah, I see the dog. Dog's one.
Boy, he is
just a very, very faint bit to the left of it, but not.
Boy, it got a little hairy when that dog dropped his nose and started to hunt a little bit on that spit. I thought he might wrap, but he didn't come out too bad here.
Bobby's a previous crown champion. He's won the crown before with a dog named Colt. Bobby's been on this stage a lot, and he's been successful at it, and he knows this game very well, and he knows how to play these dogs and how to play these blinds to the judges' liking.
And you won't find a fiercer competitor or a harder worker than Bobby
I wonder
Wills.
if they don't see him very well there. Because
it's kind of dark and shaded back there right now, and it's tough to see the dog in the glare from the fog. And
the dog was parallel on the line. There's the bird right there. Well,
pretty good. Got a little left, but
yeah. Again, if I could, if there's anything that you would draw attention to, is a little bit left coming off the last point. But other than that, whew.
But he definitely punched it in the red zone.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Strong touchdown on the left and field goal on the right for sure. And probably the best set of blinds that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did see a cast refusal
Yes.
and I believe 3 pops in there.
I didn't notice a pop. I thought every time the dog stopped, Bobby blew a whistle.
Well, I'm going to ask him when he comes back. I've trained, obviously Bobby's Lone Oak Retrievers East, our partner, and I've trained extensively with Bobby. And on blinds like this, he usually is pretty distinct with his whistle. Now, this is something we didn't see anybody else do yesterday. The judges didn't give any instructions against this. Bobby is walking.
I think Bobby's trying to see and make sure he's got a bird
to
in
the
his mouth.
right, yeah, as far as he can to keep him off of that bird. That was very, very intelligent.
Yeah, the last thing you wanted to do is pop over that point, spit the bird out that they've got in their mouth, and grab the one on the ground.
I'll tell you, Bobby came in here with a 113, our first place dog coming into here. Carter, how many points do you have cumulative?
47.
47?
Yep.
So,
Not far off the way this blind's been going. It can flop around at any moment.
of course, he doesn't have to be first coming out of this series. The way that our Super Retriever Series Crown Championship works, we're going to run 5 series here. The first series started with 94 dogs. Of course, that's a record field of starters, and we had a record number qualify, 118 dogs. All the dogs that complete them get to run both of the first 2 series, and then we cut from there to 36. 18 top amateurs, 18 top open dogs. After this 3rd series, we'll cut it down further to our top 12 AMs and our top 12 open dogs. So Bobby only needs to beat 6 to continue to survive and play. And then after our 4th semifinal series, in our finals, we will have 6 amateur teams and 6 open teams vying for the title of 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Champion.
So I'm not sure if it's for sure, but I just felt a whiff of wind on my left ear telling me that this wind may be beginning to shift.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a northeast wind, which is going to be a left to right today. It was just a good reason why they finished the amateurs yesterday and brought the pros in today.
Bobby's coming off the line here as Cash goes to shoot these marks. Gentlemen, I'm going to step away for a second and talk to Bobby for a minute and get his thoughts.
This is Cash, owned by Jason Bryan, handled by Justin Hergert. Cash has been successful in all the venues he runs in. He's an SRS champion, a Grand Hunger Retriever champion, and he's qualified all age twice. Justin and Cash have had a good run. They had a good year last year, and they've obviously had a good year this year, qualifying for the crown and making it to the top 18.
Every time that he pumps the gun, the dog looks over at him.
Yep, so a lot of times you'll see the HRC guys, they use the shuck of the gun to teach the dog to swing. So when they open it, that's when the dog want the dog to swing and look for the next mark. So those dogs can hear that shuck, and they'll be looking for the next bird just out of instinct.
Dog was a little hesitant to take off on that
Yeah.
remote cast. He went up and gave him 2 casts, but looks like he's going now. Doing a punch between the 2 decoys, which I think he got to the right of the snow goose decoy. Well, you can sure see the trails this morning, can't you?
Yeah.
Well,
Got through
those
it.
2 dogs have gotten through there without too much trouble.
I think it's a big reason that the judges put this as a remote, because you see the dogs that we have in here, and the dogs are so good that they put them in that remote to get them handling, so
Right.
you're less likely to get that line in that blind. Or
All right, gentlemen, I got some clarity there.
All right.
You know, I made the comment that I thought a pop was really, really uncharacteristic of Legend, and it is. And that's because he didn't, Bobby said no. He said he had a couple of whistles that he just didn't blow them super hard where he knew he wanted to double up on the dog.
Okay.
And basically he was talking to him. You know, he hit that first whistle to stop him, and then he hit that second whistle, as you talked about yesterday, to
Just
really get his attention. So,
right, exactly.
with that knowledge, I expect we're going to see a really good score from Bobby here. You know.
Okay, well, you've got a little hole there. If they'll get in the water. This one's...
Get in cash.
Dog's wanting to stay a little skinny. You got to change his mind here.
You got to pass that decoy before you go across that point, or you take a 50-point penalty. And I
think he probably dipped to square the dog up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he slowed the pace down. Yeah, he's not... Dog's giving you the information that he maybe wants to hang on to that land on the left.
I tell you, that big back's a dangerous cast right there, but Justin got him off.
All right.
Good cast. Now here's the one that really unnerves you.
Yeah, he's going to have to put him up there from there. But
Cash
dog's
right,
attitude's changed here a little bit. Once he finally won the argument, this dog decided, all right, I guess I got to do a water blind.
Yeah, the dog's level of compliance has
he's
definitely increased.
He's not making any move to break for the poison bird at this point. We'll find out here in a second. Oh, he's casting him up a little higher, isn't he?
The tip of that point is really hard to see right now and identify, so I think they're trying to get him up close to that cover just to be safe. Make sure you're getting all 4 feet dry. Good whistle there.
Oh, he got
If
him.
the dog heard it.
Well,
he heard
Looks
it.
like he did.
I'll tell you what, you're not going to get that whistle if you don't leave that whistle in your mouth, because that was perfect. Because the dog acted, he would have wrapped up the point and ended up left. Give it another hand. He's not going to fool around. He's going to make sure he doesn't lose him around the corner.
Yep.
No, Justin's attacking hard here.
That's what you got to do. You're not going to, I would say, well, and that may not be true, but you're in the, third series. You got 2 more to go. You're probably not going to win it here, but you could certainly lose it.
That's right. That's right.
So, no time to be a hero here.
We always say in this game, finish strong and put the pressure on the ones behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Good finish. That was a good run. Justin and Cash.
It wasn't just a good run. I mean, some of my most satisfying efforts as a handler aren't when I have the perfect blind. It's when a dog fights you a little bit, you make good decisions, and you finish just like he did.
That's right.
And, if he didn't slow the tempo down and change that dog's attitude, because the first third of that blind, that dog was not necessarily in the mood to run a water blind. And once he threw the towel in, when he came off and cast out in the water, well, and then it finished well. And that wouldn't have happened without good handling.
Who do we have coming up to the line here?
You're going to have Lyle and Tigger, owned by Jennifer Tucker.
How many has Lyle got here? How many has Lyle got here in the 18?
I believe Lyle has 2. Yes. Lyle has Hatch and Tigger. Tigger's his first dog to run, and then he'll have Hatch later on.
Of course, Lyle has won this event 7 times, which is a record.
7-time crown champion. He's won the team of the year. He's definitely the first name people think of when they think of the Super Retriever Series.
No doubt, but he's been on a pretty big drought here for the last couple of years.
I don't know that you can say it's a drought. You know, he's got 7 to 9 dogs qualified every year.
I mean, on success here at the Crown, Luke. Yep.
Yeah. I think he's been, you know, continued to be at least a semifinalist.
So as see Lyle come to the line here, let's take a look at what the judges are looking at on these 2 blinds. When we look out there at the field, that was a great shot behind Lyle as Tigger comes up. See if we can get that camera angle back out there. There you go. So when you look out there on the field, if you look to the left, you can see a holding blind in the top left corner of your screen there. And the first mark is thrown out of that blind. You see the snow goose decoy there in front of the dog about 10 to 12 yards. So this is a remote sit and sin. The handlers have been instructed that they cannot run over to the mat the dog is sitting on to cast until they pass that snow goose decoy. Doesn't matter which side they go on that snow goose decoy. Further down, we have snow goose decoys on the left and 1 speckle belly decoy on the right, about 50 yards offline. Judges have instructed that the dogs have to go to the left of the speck decoy and to the right of the snow decoy, or they incur a 50-point infraction. Also, if your dog leaves the mat on the remote before it is sent, you have 1 chance to put the dog back on the mat. And if it takes 2 times after the test has begun, then another 50-point penalty. See Lyle lets the dog pass, moves over the mat we're talking about, to the left of that speck decoy. Gotta make sure he made it right through the gap to the right of that snow goose decoy. So he avoided that 50. And then finally, at the end here, you see the little hut or shed that the dog, open shed that the dog has to run underneath. They've put 2 snow goose decoys on either side. And if the dog does not go between those, it's a 50-point penalty. Furthermore, any of these markers or goalposts out there, if the dog passes it on the wrong side and the handler calls it back in, there is no second chance. You still get the penalty. So you're going to see these guys being really careful to stop their dogs short of the markers in the field. And yesterday we saw a couple of times where we also had our judges discussing, hey, you know, the handler gave a comeback whistle when the dog got close to that on the wrong side. Did he break the plane, or was he still on the correct side? Clearly see those snow goose decoys, and that last one to the right there, the dog has to be the right of it, outbound.
Looks like we got some more fog rolling in, kind of making that difficult visibility.
Yeah, fog makes it a little bit difficult. Dogs can see the handler very well, though. I think good shot there. You saw that Lyle's pretty eliminated when you're looking back at him from out in front of him. All right, you see that white snow goose decoy there on the left? Dog has to be to the right of it on the spine. Boy, this is a beautiful start. Dog has to get all 4 feet up on the point, or it's another penalty. And you see right there in the foreground, to the left of the dog, that speckle belly goose decoy, you've got to pass it on the right-hand side or you get 50. And I'm not sure that he got it on the right-hand side. Lyle working hard to regain control, but this dog seems pretty intent on that poison bird. Of course, if he picks it up, it's all over. Got him back in the water. See the point right behind the dog? It's your final obstacle. Got to get all 4 feet on it, or again, it's a 50-point penalty. Looks like Lyle was successful. It's always dangerous to try to pull that dog back in with that poison bird right there.
He's fighting for his life up there.
Yep, we got him off of it though.
So what did I miss? Did he have on the remote cast, did something funny happen right in the beginning?
He had a cast refusal just to get off. He had one cast refusal to get off of the mat, and then it went fine after that.
Okay.
Just a little bit of confusion started.
Boy, look at the lighting now. This fog has set in.
Yeah, it's really tough to see the dog in the finish here. I'm not sure
I wonder if they're
going to
delay this a little bit. I mean,
see the dog coming out over there.
Boy. Tell you what, it's equally as hard to see as it is on the camera right now.
Can't tell whether the dog has the birds coming back or not. I'm sure Lyle can't either.
No.
He's coming back. He must have the bird.
All right.
I wonder what they're going to do. Well, the next dog's coming into the holding line.
I wouldn't be surprised if they take a short break here. I do not think the lighting conditions, I mean, they were very favorable when the test started and he was shooting the birds and actually running the land blind and most of the water blind. I don't think the lighting was a factor on this dog. I'm sure Lyle would probably argue otherwise, but definitely.
Starting to lighten up again right there.
Yeah. If it doesn't lighten up before Clark runs, I would expect him to take a brief pause because it is going to be very difficult for the dog to see these poison bird marks.
I think the biggest thing the lighting affects is that it's finishing the dog on that water blind, that dark background, and on the lamp blind, the dark background.
And very fortunately, Lyle didn't have any trouble finishing at that point, so it was a non-factor there to be sure. And that's just a tough break. I mean, there's nothing the judges can do about that. The lighting was just
Nothing they can change. If we could blow the fog out of here, we would.
No, yeah, exactly.
I'm sure Lyle wanted a better run, but he still got through it and did a great job with Tigger. Him and Tigger had a great year, and still got a chance. They survived.
And he's got another bite at the apple with Hatch also here in a few minutes.
Well, that's our first kind of rough blind of the first three. Yeah.
You see Clark Kennington in the holding blind. He's going to be coming up with Oz when the judges decide the weather's okay. He's another team member of the Castile Creek Kennels.
Yeah, he's
it looks like
leading
they're going to get a little weather
blind.
delay here.
Yep, Law's teammate.
I think that makes a lot of sense, don't you?
Yeah.
Fog break. Fog break.
Just been informed that we are taking a break to let the fog try to clear.
You see Tigger back here. He's still getting loves and kisses from his mama.
Yeah. She got a little talking to, though.
That's right.
She said, "What were you thinking out there?"
But she still loves him.
That's right.
She says they don't do that in Canada.
That's right.
All right, folks, we're going to take a little break here, but stick with us. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes with the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba.
Training the dogs is one thing, but training the people, that's really where it is, because now they can be better to their dogs. Their dogs can trust them more, and they're going to be more successful. And I've done a lot of coaching of people at Nationals, and it's really what turns me on, is putting together the dog-handler combination and helping them understand each other. And, well, success is bound to happen when you can do that.
You know, Pat's real gift is what he's done for the game in helping so many people to be able to run their dogs and train their dogs. And that's just aren't that many resources for a person to get that kind of help. And Pat has been just outstanding in, getting people successful with their dogs.
It is almost 40 years ago to the day when I spent my first winter trip in the South doing just what you're seeing over my shoulder, training dogs. We used to stay up late at night talking about this. Fast forward 40 years later, I still can't get enough of this. I never get tired of watching these dogs sort things out. And it's watermarks especially, because they take some time and the dogs really have to sort out some challenges. And when you design a test properly, you can watch these dogs think, and it's really rewarding when they start to progress and make better decisions.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and you look at Pat's history, even when he had his own kennel and he was campaigning dogs, I mean, he's very successful. But the thing that separates Pat is he's able to tell you what's going on with the dog and what you need to do, where other trainers just don't have that ability to express to you what's going on and what you need to do to make things happen correctly.
The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. And by the Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission, teaming up with our community to bring sporting events to Shreveport-Bossier City, Caddo, and Bossier parishes. Margaritaville Resort Casino. Louisiana Tourism, feed your soul. Thor's Boats, drop the hammer.
Splash Super Pools.
And by Lucky Duck Kennels.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
The Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission is here to help you with your amateur, collegiate, professional, or Olympic sporting event. Centrally located in the Arklatex area, Shreveport-Bossier is a premier sports destination, ideal for hosting sporting events of any size. With our wide variety of venues, including stadiums, convention centers, rivers, and universities, we are sure to have the perfect location for any event. Our team is ready to make your event a success. Visit us online at ShreveportBossierSports.com or on Facebook at Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission and let us host your next event.
Two birds of a feather. We flock together every day, and I'll do anything to protect that loyalty. Durable, dependable, and downright dirty. And I'm not just talking about my dog. This 5-star crash test rated kennel is lightweight, secure, and made right here in America. Loyalty goes both ways.
The Splash Super Pool is the original above-ground, soft-sided pool. We've been in business for almost 40 years now. We're still proudly made in the USA, and we've been serving our community in all kinds of ways. They're all testaments as to the strength and the durability of this super pool. And we've been serving the dock diving community for almost 20 years. The pool that they use is the exact same pool that you'll use in your backyard. So just remember, as you're watching these dogs fly through the air, this is the same super pool that you could have in your backyard. Splash Super Pools.
The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship would like to thank Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission for the opportunity to showcase our retriever teams. We would also like to thank the sponsors of the Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count.
The Splash Super Pool is the original above-ground, soft-sided pool. We've been in business for almost 40 years now. We're still proudly made in the USA, and we've been serving our community in all kinds of ways. They're all testaments as to the strength and the durability of this super pool. And we've been serving the dock diving community for almost 20 years. The pool that they use is the exact same pool that you'll use in your backyard. So just remember, as you're watching these dogs fly through the air, this is the same super pool that you could have in your backyard. Splash Super Pools.
The Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission is here to help you with your amateur, collegiate, professional, or Olympic sporting event. Centrally located in the Arklatex area, Shreveport-Bossier is a premier sports destination, ideal for hosting sporting events of any size. With our wide variety of venues, including stadiums, convention centers, rivers, and universities, we are sure to have the perfect location for any event. Our team is ready to make your event a success. Visit us online at ShreveportBossierSports.com or on Facebook at Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission and let us host your next event.
Super Retriever Series Crown Championship would like to thank all our gifting sponsors for their donations to our competitor teams.
They're partners, ready to do whatever it takes. Athletes that pound for pound can outrun, outwork, and outperform anybody you're watching on Sunday. No contract required. You don't waste that kind of potential. You train it, fuel it, unleash it. You feed nutrition that holds nothing back. The Eukanuba Premium Performance Lineup.
This is no ordinary puppy. And this is no ordinary story. This is the tale of a hero in the making. He is born, raised, and fed to rise to any challenge. Because he is no ordinary dog. He's a Eukanuba dog.
That's it. Come on, boy.
Eukanuba provides animal proteins and high levels of DHA for a strong body and mind. Feed the extraordinary in your puppy and make your dog a Eukanuba dog.
The Splash Super Pool is the original above-ground, soft-sided pool. We've been in business for almost 40 years now. We're still proudly made in the USA, and we've been serving our community in all kinds of ways. They're all testaments as to the strength and the durability of this super pool. And we've been serving the dock diving community for almost 20 years. The pool that they use is the exact same pool that you'll use in your backyard. So just remember, as you're watching these dogs fly through the air, this is the same super pool that you could have in your backyard. Splash Super Pools.
In my Louisiana, the day starts at 4 a.m. In my Louisiana, every meal is a celebration. My Louisiana really makes me wonder.
Ours is fast! With real-life swamp creatures!
In my Louisiana, music is a way of life.
My Louisiana is sheer magic.
From sunup to sundown.
Till sunup again. What will your Louisiana be?
When you find your Louisiana, you feed your soul.
Welcome back to the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship. If you're just joining us, we've been taking a little break. We are here in our third series at the Crown. In the series, we've got a double poison bird, double blind, land blind, followed up by a water blind, and I believe we may actually have a little bit of a map or a diagram of this that Pat Bird's made for us. There we go. We see it there. Pat, let's talk about that for a second.
Well, okay, here's our here's a view from the line. The red lines are the perfect lines to both blinds. Obviously, the one on the left is your land blind, marked number 1. The little arrow points to the slot between the right-hand snow goose decoy, and if you look a little bit to the right of that line, you'll see a little dark spot. That's a speckle belly goose decoy. So that's the slot the judges want you to get. If you look at the end of the blind, you see a little structure, a little almost like a shed without any sides, and there's 2 snow goose decoys, and they want you to go between them, and it's actually under the shed back at the back wall.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the roof of that shed looks like it's just kind of underlining the numeral 1 there.
Yes, that's exactly what you're looking at there. So you can see the arcs of the poison birds. The poison bird on the right, remember, is thrown out in the water. and it's on a rope, and they jerk it back to simulate a bird that is trying to escape, so it creates a commotion in the water.
Yeah, and what you can't actually see there on the diagram is when they throw that bird, it lands pretty much dead in line with the line to that blind.
Correct.
And they make quite a splash as they pull it back.
And the arc I'm showing there shows you where the bird lays when the dog goes by it. So it's not very far. And there's some, well, why don't you, we talked a little bit about the 3 critical points on, let's talk about the water blind. Obviously, we said, I always say the first part of every water blind is you got to get in the water. And that seems so obvious, but before you can worry about the points, you got to get in the water. So you got to get in the water, and there's a little bit of running water, so some of those dogs kind of want to hang on to that left shore and romp down that left shore a little bit, and you got to cast them out, get them to swim a little bit, and you got to catch the tip of that point. One of the challenging things, when you pointed out, it's hard to tell where these points are. You see there's heavier cover, and you see that light green? At first I thought that was duckweed actually out in the water, but that is actually dry ground.
Correct.
But you're only talking, what, 20? I mean, it's not much more than 1.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
So it's not a very big spot. But you've got to get on those points. You got to get up all 4 feet on dry ground, and then as you're approaching the second point, you're dangerously close, and you see that poison bird. It's a white duck laying in that corner.
We got about 30 seconds to wrap this.
So there you go. There's a view of that, and this is what we've been talking about. So,
and one interesting thing I'd like to point out as well, Pat, on that second water blind, when you get up past that point, past that poison bird, it's not over. We have seen several dogs, you get them past it, you think they're out of danger, and then a whistle later they pop back up behind it, running into it and scoop up the bird.
Yeah, and it makes the ending a little sloppy, and you get dinged a little bit there. But, well, there's a view of what we're doing, and it sounds like we're going to get rolling again here.
Yeah, we're back live. We were always live, but now we're back on camera.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a double whammy. You get past that second point, and we've seen dogs that came back in and picked up the poison bird after they thought they were out of danger. But then we've seen others that, they get fat left in the water there, and the handler really can't see them, and they don't know where they're at. Next thing you know, they pop up out of the water on the left hand into the levee, and sometimes it can take, that's not a good place to be. Most of the time it's taking quite a bit of work to get the dog back and recover from that position, if recovered at all.
Still kind of foggy, but I think this is more typical of what we saw lighting-wise when we ran test dog.
And we have ran 3 dogs of the 18 so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't seen any scores yet. Typically the judges do not release scores until after 5 dogs run. And they do that because they want to compare their notes just a little bit. Oftentimes it's really, really bad to run at the very first of them because they don't know how they're going to score it. Sometimes they can be a little bit too difficult, and other times they can realize that maybe we're a little bit lenient, and so they want to establish a good baseline there.
What was our low score yesterday on this? You guys remember?
It was in the 50s, I believe.
Seems like I have time for it.
Yeah, I think I can pull it up for you right quick, Pat.
With grandkids,
There was a lot of movement here yesterday. That's the thing to be noted. I mean, this is definitely a test where you can pick up some ground
every couple weeks or a month.
in a hurry
I
here.
live 7 miles away.
We saw Legend come out very first dog day and probably ran the best set of blinds that we've seen here.
Wow.
All right, here we go. We got Clark Kennington and Oz coming to the line, owned by Jennifer and Brian Tucker.
The best score of the day yesterday was a 57, Stuart Williams with Tex.
Where the lighting just improved right when that dog stepped to line. Wind is back to right to left here.
Yep, kind of coming over our right shoulder.
It's light, probably not much more than 3 miles an hour.
Had a dud in his gun, but that's not a big deal.
And they'll just let him keep rolling.
Yep.
Talked about the fact that Friday can be moving day, or third series can. Tex, who had the best score yesterday, picked up 5 spots, 5 places overall.
Clark's working to try to get her to look at him. There you go. Pass the decoy.
Approaching that little slot we just pointed out on the diagram.
Yeah, Clark not taking any chances. That dog was running directly at that decoy. You've got to be
Got through the first slot.
right of. Successfully navigated.
Well, that was a heck of a good cast.
Yeah.
And we talked about the 3 parts. He's in the middle part now, and the dog kind of got rolling. Oh, boy, that feels like a good spot to have stopped. He gave him room for this cast. You know, sometimes if you stop too much on line, you don't give him any real way to go. But that was really smooth, really well managed by the handler there.
Clark's another veteran of the game. He's a 2-time crown champion. He won a few years ago with a yellow dog named Roscoe, owned by Tammy Bell, and then one with Stroker, owned by Doug Weiss. Stroker's a well-known dog in this game. He's been a finalist in the crown multiple times, and he won his crown championship, and he's been the sire of quite a few dogs running the crown championship. So Clark and Stroker were definitely a team that came to mind when you thought of the Super Retriever Series.
Well, you've obviously studied all this. You know, you got the stats down.
Yeah, I know a lot of these dogs. I've been around them enough, and you know, like I came into this game when I was 19 years old, so I looked up to all these guys and I studied everything they did and every dog they ran, and to help myself get better. And Clark's one of those guys. The very first event I ran off of my own. When I went the first time I traveled to an SRS event, Clark came up to me and said, "Hey, let's go to dinner and let's talk about this game." And he taught me a lot, and I really appreciate that. And Clark's always been somebody that's helped me out, and I've always looked up to him.
Well, we all had somebody that kind of took us under their wing and helped us. Boy, what a beautiful IL there. Let's see what happens here. Oh, he missed it.
Just making sure he's getting on that point.
Getting an adequate amount of point.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Clark also
now,
has.
That's the epitome of compliance right there. Let's see if it holds. Now you're thinking like, all right, this dog's drifting back in. Is he making a move for the poison bird? But if, well,
right there.
Boy, you got to get it. You got to read where that running water is.
Very good.
Yeah, he's
well-timed whistle. I'll tell you, I've
yeah.
said it several times.
And you know what? When you blow that whistle at the right time, the dog knows why you blew it.
Yep.
And you could sense that dog says, "Oh, he doesn't want me to go to get that bird."
Timing is our biggest point of communication.
Good job. Oh, I thought he had the save there for a second.
He had a really good run going.
I tell you what, the margin for error on these things, I mean, that dog looked like he was in the zone to do this. And when he hit that little bit of lunge water, that's the tough thing. You're casting to get back on the point.
Yep.
And it's easy for that dog to interpret, oh, you want me to pick that up?
Well, once again, you hate to see it in like that, but Clark and Oz had a great year. They did a great job, made it to the top 18 in the Crown Championship. Still got to be proud of little Oz. She worked her heart out and had 2 good blinds going.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a hard time being mad at the dog.
That's
it's
right.
just a circumstance that.
Yep. That's what the judge set it up that way. You know, you got to give that crucial cast, and it's hard to get that communication at that distance and that running water, and everything's real tight. Next up, we're going to have Rody Best of Best Retrievers, and he's going to be coming to the line with JJ. JJ is owned by Kevin and Yolanda Buckman. Kevin is one of our field marshals during the regular season. He helps us the Super Retriever Series out a lot and travels around and marshals some of the events.
Just heard Clark say as he came by Felt like he should have let her get a little bit deeper before he tried to get her on that point. Feels like he made a handler error there. But I tell you, Clark hasn't made many this week. I've seen him do some fabulous
Clark's not known for making errors.
When he just walked by and he said he wished he'd have waited a little longer to put him on the point. He had more room.
Yeah.
You can't tell.
JJ is an SRS champion, a master hunter, and 2 master national passes. She got her SRS champion title this year with a win at one of the Texas events.
Of course, Pat, if you're of our generation, you know exactly who Special Agent 99 is from Get
That's right.
Smart. JJ, great reference there.
Yep.
Did you know that, Luke?
I did not. I've always wondered what her registered name was after.
So there was a TV series back in the 70s called Get Smart. And the sidekick for Maxwell Smart was Special Agent 99 JJ.
Huh.
Yeah, a lot of creative names. It's fun.
Yeah.
We know Mama Yo's watching, and Yolanda's. We always say if we were to die and come back as a dog, we want to be owned by Yolanda because she treats these dogs like they're her babies.
Good for her. Interesting. I'm not sure that dog even looked at him.
Yeah, it looked like he sent her on. It sounded like he sent her on her name, which is different than from other handlers. They've sent him on back.
Well, got a really good initial
Yeah.
line out of it, so kind of hard to argue. Oh, got through it. Brody's really.
You're really looking at that right now. You're trying to get a read on their compliant state, and a big part of it is watch when he blows this whistle. Do you get a real sharp stop? Do they look at you? Somebody, Farmer used to say, I don't only want him to stop, I want him to salute.
It's a good spot right there.
Yeah, it is.
Get that left angle through
And when
there.
they do that real sharp stop and look at you, they're saluting. And yeah,
Excellent job.
That was really smooth. You know,
JJ's a very compliant dog. Her and Rhodey are a great team together.
Well, I like where he stopped that dog the last time, too. You let him get much further than that, they see that gap to the right. And we've seen people really struggle.
And if you top them too soon, you don't. They go left of the post. So
it's just like we talked about yesterday. Got to get him in the right spot for that bank shot to get that perfect cast through there.
Well, Rhodey's timing was excellent on that.
I'll tell you what, though, he's digging in now.
Yeah.
Because his work's only 20% of the way done. He steps out of the batter's box a second.
You see Rhodey kind of back up, and he's going to walk up to get that spine alignment and that momentum pointed towards that water.
I always say that make your last 3 steps right at your target.
Yep.
Easiest way to get them lined up, their spine lined up.
Here comes
And
that
you
left.
take them off their feet, and you
feel that left wind, that left gust.
Yeah, there's that. And I tell you, you're right. When you're on that line, you got to feel that wind change on your ears, and it changes your strategy. Because now there's a risk of not only seeing that poison bird,
Great
but smelling
initial
it.
line by JJ.
Wow, that's.
Every dog is going to that decoy.
Real slow and methodical with that. Yeah.
You can see the belly of that decoy. I think those dogs are thinking that might be a bird, and they're running to it.
Now when you. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Rhodey really taking his time here to make her think.
Well,
good job.
You're right. And I loved how he just stared at the dog. He's controlling the tempo of this blind. Let's see what happens here now. This dog's making a little move. Ooh, ooh. You get him stopped? Oh.
Good cast.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice cast.
All right, Rhodey, get another one on him there. Good. You know, when they first come off, they're still relating to that piece of land they just came off of. And once they kind of commit to swimming across, the complexion of things change. Ooh, got a
Cast refusal there. It's okay.
All right.
Still in a good spot. Got her in sight. Gonna work through it.
And once again, you blow that whistle, you can tell that dog says, oh, I'm going the wrong way. I need to change direction. Already got a big cast there. He's probably got to put him back on line.
And she got just a little bit wide.
And I can see why you go verbal there, just because a dog is almost overcasting a little
Yeah,
bit. You don't want to get a big
wall,
left-handed
maybe.
cast. You just want to bump him over a little bit.
This has been a very, very solid run. I've seen
Oh, yes.
maybe 2 cast refusals, 1, maybe 2, and I think we had a whistle refusal, and I'm not sure that she could hear it splashing coming off that point. Other
In a
than
good
that,
spot to
very
finish
clean.
with the left to right wind. You can see that fog blowing left to right. That's where our wind is.
Boy, you just have to, you cannot take your focus off the dog when you're on line. You just have to stare a
You
hole
know
in
it's
the
hard
back
to see
there.
that dog right now. You see Rhodey really trying to lean
Boy,
forward
now
and
I'm
get a
feeling
view.
the wind on my right side of me.
Back of my neck.
It's kind of swirling on us. Got it.
All right.
It's pretty happy with that.
You bet.
And well, it should be. That
I'll
was
tell you,
very
you know what
solid.
the first thing that comes to mind, I mean, that was just textbook management of that.
See him put
You know,
his
he
whistle
was
back in his mouth. He's walking
Yeah,
over here.
yeah. Don't good dog
no
him too
taking
quick.
chances.
But I'll tell you that the timing on those whistles and his patience prior to the casting, I think, really set the tone for that whole thing. And
See, Rhodey
good training and a good dog doesn't hurt either.
That's
does
right.
it?
See,
Jake?
Rhodey took a page out of Bobby's book, too. He's moving down
That's right.
much closer to the water.
Well, like this dog's swimming back the whole way.
From this angle, look at how well Rhodey is illuminated right now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, these dogs, when they look back, they're getting maybe a little foggy here, but they're getting a good look back at their handlers.
The strategy of right on the jacket you wear.
All right, so
well, you're
Bobby-
front lit kind of here, at least side lit.
We got some scores. 45 with Bobby. Wow, that's going to be the lowest score we've seen so far.
Yeah, he definitely made up some ground there.
76 and a 93 with Lyle. Still, Lyle had a good run. Bobby's going to move up a couple of spots on that one.
Yeah, he made up some ground. He gained 3 spots right there. Came in this 18th. The worst he could do right now is 15th. And I tell you, I really think that as bunched up as they are here in the back 10 or 12 handlers, from 7th place to 18th, what are we looking at there?
Oof, not much.
What was our
Maybe 20 points.
Yeah, I think Bobby just pretty much secured his way with that 45.
Yeah, our 7th place is at 85, so 6th place is 78.
Yeah, 85 for 7th place. Bobby came in 18th with
I don't know who's
a
happier.
113. So you're talking about less than 35 points.
JJ's out of Mully, a dog that I'm sure you're familiar with. He was a
yeah.
national amateur field champion.
Just passed away, actually, a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
What
he
a
was a great
wonderful
dog.
dog.
And then her name was long crossing skies making the grade. Are you familiar with that dog?
It's got to be out of Grady, yeah.
Yep. She was I believe she got her field champion title a couple of years ago.
Very cool.
You see Kevin Buckman, the owner, back here, ready to meet his girl and give her a good pat on the head and give Rhodey a hug.
Well, that's why you do it right there.
Next up, we're going to have Leo, Joseph, and Gus. Gus was our 2nd place finisher in the Crown last year. Gus is pretty consistent, and Leo and him make a great team. Leo's with Rivertown Retrievers out of Natchez, Mississippi.
Last year, Stephen just barely edged out Rhodey there in the finals to put him in 2nd place.
Rhodey
Dog
just
ran
walked
really
by, and
strong all
that
the way
was
through. Good job, Rhodey.
well executed, Rhodey.
See Gus give Leo that great eye contact.
Man,
I'm not feeling too good about.
Trying to get his feet moving.
now Rhodey can call Gus over to
Leo,
him
this
and
is
kick him
Leo.
off, but it will be a 100-point penalty, I believe.
Yep.
He's going to have to do
Send him
something
on his
here.
name
Yeah,
there to
send
get him
him on
going.
Gus.
So he's going to get, he had 2, maybe 3 cast refusals there leaving the line, but he got going.
You surprised to see that?
I am. You know, Leo is, if when you see a test like this with a remote send, usually the first person you think of who's going to be most comfortable with this is Leo. Leo trains dogs with, and he works with Honey Break Lodge, so this is something that is pretty common in his regimen. I think Gus was just a little taken off by the poison birds out in the field and the splashing bird and all that.
Yeah, I've had the privilege to hunt at Honey Break 2 or 3 times, and
it's a great place.
Great place, but most time you have to hunt your dog sitting in a remote. Man, that's a good, strong.
Yeah, other than the beginning, that was
a
about
great
as
blind.
special as you could get.
Got to finish here, I think. Yep, there we got it.
Well, you can't take your concentration off right at the end, though. Because you don't want to turn around, or you don't want, somebody says great blind and you let your guard down, next thing you know the dog doesn't have the bird.
Leo and Gus are coming in with a total score of 100.
100.
100.
And I told you yesterday, I mean, on our January routine of doing a land tune-up drill,
this is what
we always added up remote cast just for that very reason, to get the dogs kind of comfortable with it. Because it definitely, especially this dog was trained by Lower Parrot and was mostly intended to be a field trial dog for a big chunk of his life. But he's done very well here.
Yeah, he's been with Leo for the last few years and have done well together. And usually that remote cast is something that Gus is very strong at. That was very surprising to see. But you know, they're dogs. Some things, sometimes different views can get in their head a little bit more than we think they will.
Again, Leo really taking his time here.
We'll see if it holds true, but I think one reason he didn't leave, he was just really trying to be careful and didn't want to make a mistake.
Right.
Lines, looks like, okay. A little skinny there.
For a second, I thought Gus was actually about to break a little bit right and catch a little more water.
Yeah. Well, you want to be a little patient there, but if you're a little too patient, because he didn't get quite what he wanted there.
Interesting. I think he's trying to
giving him some
regroup
grief
a little
here.
bit, but it didn't work.
Boy, you don't see that. He was so compliant on that landline, but he's putting up a...
Pat, what do you think? I think that Leo called him in as far as he did, just trying to change it up. And
Yeah, you got to do something. Like I said.
No, here, come here, get in here.
Oh,
That's
shoot.
it for Leo and Gus. Leo's didn't
darn
feel
it.
like Gus was working with him, and it was going to be detrimental to his training, and so he decided to go ahead and pick him up.
So, is it likely that these dogs are headed to the Grand and to the Master National?
A lot of them are. I'm not personally sure on Gus, but
So
a lot of them
sometimes
are.
that might be an investment in next weekend's deal. Not letting
Leo might be thinking, this isn't going to get me to the top 12. I'm not going to ruin my chances at the next event. Let's go train.
sure, sometimes you sacrifice today
Yeah.
to try to get the win tomorrow.
We're going to have Clark coming up with another dog. Clark will be coming up with Daisy. He was at a 103. JJ and Gus jumped ahead of him to give him time so he didn't have to run back to back. This is a young dog. Daisy's a very young dog, and she's been very successful. She's a Grand Hunter Retriever champion and a Master Hunter, and is qualified for the SRS Crown Championship. Daisy's definitely got some style. She likes to go. Again, Clark is with the Castile Creek Retrievers or Kennels team, and they've had a great year. They had I believe a total of 15 dogs qualified between him and Lyle Steinman.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they had a year.
But now, Coors Retrievers did pretty good too. How many dogs qualified out of your posse?
We had 7 dogs in the open and 4 dogs in the amateur. So
yeah, 11.
We had 11
That's not
dogs.
bad.
Yeah, we had a good year.
Oh, no, it's going to be a no bird. You know, sometimes there's a lot of pressure out there in the field.
Yeah.
To get your throws just right, because sometimes the harder you try, he threw that poison bird straight up in the air, so they're going to have a no
There you see JJ and Best put up a 66.
Great run.
Really nice run.
Is that going to move Bobby down?
Yeah, Bobby's continuing to move up. I think he's still in first place.
Yep, Bobby's holding strong.
How many dogs have ran now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 dogs have
6
ran.
dogs ran. And
So Bobby is on the bubble. He just needs one more to falter. And he's moved from 18th.
You can never put Bobby out of your mind, no matter what position he is in. Like you said, he's one of the fiercest competitors here, and he trains hard, and he's a hard worker. He's very often come back from it and been at the lead. And you always got to keep Bobby in the back of your mind.
Well, he's made up 5 places already. He only needs to make up 1 more to be guaranteed a spot in the semis, and I think that's pretty much assured. I know we've got some great dogs coming here, and I expect we may see a couple better runs with even better scores than the 45 that Legend and Bobby put up, but as tight as these guys were bunched, I think Bobby should be feeling pretty good right now.
Got the sun coming out and the wind's blowing left or right pretty good now.
Yeah, I think you're going to start to see whatever pattern the day's going to have is going to be right here.
Daisy's got a little excitement in her.
You can see it after he shoots the smoke from that primer popper drifting left to right.
See look at the eye contact she's giving Clark. She's ready to work with him. Past the decoy.
Great initial line too on this blind. Through the first set of goalposts. 2 whistles in only. Another good stop right there. This is nerve-wracking. Oh, he's
nice.
nailed it.
Look up there. Good whistle there. Very nice.
Yeah, 4
that was
whistles.
a nice blind. Great initial line again. These dogs are getting good initial lines today.
People whistle.
Yep. She was a little fat. Gave her the cast up on the point. Got it.
Yeah. Back off.
Great whistle timing there.
Another good safety cast.
That when that fog was in, it was really hard to see where that point started and ended. And now with the fog's gone and the wind's kind of settled, you can really see that point's defined, and you can see where them dogs need to get up on.
Man, this dog's in a really good place to see. Clark seemed to wait just a little bit longer before he started working to get to that point, learning from his last dog. Good job.
One thing you got to admire about Clark here is he doesn't let that last dog picking up the poison bird make him nervous. He uses it as motivation to work this dog a little bit and keep her off that poison bird and get her in the checkpoints it needs to, and it's got a good blind going.
Unless something really, really odd happens here, I think you're about to see a new leader in the clubhouse, Luke.
I would agree.
I'm just wearing this dog in my hand as it goes. Coming out on the correct side of the wind.
Yep, great spot. Got it. Nice
Nailed it.
job,
Nice.
Clark.
I believe that's probably the best job we've seen today. Bobby and Legend had a good one. I think that edged it out just a hair.
Great job with Clark and Daisy, a young dog holding it together and being very compliant. A lot of times when you see that Grand Hunting Retriever Champion title in front of a dog's name, compliance is one thing that comes to mind.
Well, Clark seems to be very, very dialed in, last dog notwithstanding, with his dogs. They just seem to be really, really working well with him as a team.
Yep. Carter Turner's he's about to start making his way in the group. I believe Carter's got 4 dogs in the semifinals, or in the top 18.
You put on your sunglasses. Pat just put on sunglasses, came back up and says, "What happened to our screen?"
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, you can. All right. Polarized sunglasses and that screen don't go together. Did you see the screen? No. I thought it was shut off.
Got our bird boy running out there to pick up one of the poison birds. We also have had Ron Anderson slip up here into the tent. I was texting Ron last night and invited him to come up here today. Ron had, and I'm very, very sorry too to see that, Ron had a very unexpected early departure with our fan voting favorite, Rip, here in the 3rd series when he picked up the poison bird. What happened yesterday, Ron?
Well, what happened was, I think I ran a pretty good land blind. I know I probably got out of the corridor a time or two, so when I went to the water blind, in my mind, I thought I needed to run it tight to try to make up some points. And, I was still in the point that I thought I needed to attack it. And, hindsight's always 20/20. But, we never could get the momentum I wanted because he wanted to go fat into the water. Then I cast him and got him skinny. Then he wanted to go skinny, then fat. And then had him in a good spot for that second point. Probably cast him too much to the point to where he got more land than I wanted, and and he hasn't picked up a poison bird probably in a year and a half that I can remember. But I think when he got up there, he's such a visual dog. He just looked there and saw it, and in his mind, I really think he thought he was done. It's like, oh, I'm where I'm supposed to be. So, and then probably should have done a little better job of probably would have given him a verbal off of there, but in my mind I was thinking I'm gonna get this cast and I wanted to give it big because I didn't want it to suck around the shore and go in that, and then when it went bad in a hurry. So,
I think that you were probably just as shocked as all of us. I even made the comment, I don't know if you went back and watched it, but when he turned around, he started to take a step to it. I said, this is nothing.
Right.
He's gonna take it. And then when he didn't take the first cast and you went to do it the second time,
he kind of self-cat,
Yeah, I thought, wow, he is about, there's no way this dog is going to jump back in the water and finish this blind. And, looking back, you feel like you should have given a verbal there for sure?
But the thing is, I don't normally give a verbal. I'm usually off points. I'm usually not verbal. It's usually, so it's not what I normally do, but hindsight, maybe, probably. Who knows if the end result would have changed, but it's very disappointing to say the least, and that was a very good blind by Carter
Carter
right there.
finished really good in the red zone. We see Clark, Kennington, and Daisy with a 52 there.
That's a nice run.
It was a very nice run.
But I will tell you this, from running this, from watching the test dog and then actually running a dog, those blinds they're tighter than they look like when you're just watching a dog. When you're handling it, it's tight out there. There's a lot of decisions being made in a quick fashion by you and the dog.
That first slot on the decoy doesn't look so small until the dog gets close to it.
Right, yeah, until you got to get through it, and it's like, yeah, it's tight. It's tight, and that poison bird doesn't look so tight to that point until you put a dog on that point.
And you realize
then
it's
it's
stride
right.
away.
You're like you're literally a jump away from it. So yeah, it's a lot more to it. Yeah, it's not.
Well, so Carter's out here. He's getting lined up here. I tell you, that was pretty doggone nice. Land blind right there. Nice coming line up. The finish on that was what really impressed me. I mean, that last cast, he carried it for a long way right up through the uprights. You know, as Pat was talking about the red zone, he was definitely in it, and he punched it on through quickly. Of course, take his time now. Breaking a little left. Want to run it low. Cast refusal there. What he was looking for. Here. This is where it started to come apart with Gus. I don't know what's changed.
There was that verbal here that everyone talks about.
That decoy was the bird.
Come on. Needs this cast.
Yeah.
Didn't get it all.
I tell you, this is going to be a hard spot to recover from, guys. I'm hoping for the best for him, but wow.
He ain't over it yet, though.
No, it's not. You well know that. He's definitely won a couple battles. See if he can win the war.
He's in the code, but he's left. Yep.
Tell you, we saw from yesterday.
Well, that dog
come
fought
out
him
that
the
far right, it can
whole
be
way.
very difficult.
Yeah.
That far left, it can be very difficult.
He had work cut out for him from the time he said it.
That's when
Man,
you pull
what
everything
an
out of your bag of tricks to try to just survive.
Yes, sir.
It's some of them take off like they're not even know they're running a blind.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, to get here, they all are good blind running dogs. But
Tell you what, this dog, the line that he's coming back on, this test isn't over yet, guys. I'd be shocked to see him pick that bird up and make the switch on the way back, but it's definitely something that's possible, and I'd be guarded and protected for. I think Carter's thinking the same thing. You see him looking very, very intently, watching him from behind the line, giving some verbal hears. Little inflection in his voice saying, don't mess it up now. Yeah.
So I'm going to make a comment. I asked some guys, do you train during this event at all? Because if I'm in my national, I almost always train before the first water blind. I do something. I don't necessarily do a water blind, but I want to do something with structure. I don't know how doable it is here with the, how quick things happen. Now, and I don't know how predictable it is what you're going to get, and some, you're getting a water blind next. I don't know if people knew that. But if I was ever going to train, and it's in our, I don't know how it is here, but it's, once you know what the test is or have seen it, it's not right to train. But if you were finished with the previous series, and I don't know if there's a place to train.
You don't mention him doing what he's doing with his hands. I'm about to put it on there.
What I will do, and have done before, is not necessarily train, but just find a little area and maybe run a blind just to get them to remind them, especially after coming out of that second series where you just ran a field trial series, 3 marks,
exactly.
Just to get them thinking that,
But
hey, I
everything
have
you've
to
done
stop.
now is, let's go find a bird, other than your first retrieve but that's a long time ago, the
Correct.
poison bird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but that
just,
is training. It may just be a wagon wheel drill.
Correct. Yeah.
You may be
I've
in
done
the
that
parking
before.
lot of the hotel somewhere or behind a Walmart.
What was Carter doing with his hands?
But I could see. So what were you referring to on the hands?
I'm not sure.
We can see from the camera view that we had. Maybe he was giving him a cast to get away from the poison bird when he was on his way back, keeping him in the water.
Yeah, that's Carter. I've watched him online. He's always kind of reenacting what just went on, maybe what he done different. You can hear him talking to himself.
Yeah,
and he's kind of right, and I think he's probably planning his attack for his next dog, or what maybe he could have done different. He's one of those handlers that wears his heart on his sleeve. You can see his emotion, and it's really fun to watch.
Well, I thought that was pretty interesting. It was almost like he was like replaying it over and over, maybe then thinking, I saw that finger moving, and that makes total sense. Going back through, this, and then this, and then this. And I'm sure he's locking that away for the next time up. I tell you, Ron, we've really enjoyed having you here
I want to give it back to you.
with us.
Okay. Well, I was going to
Ron, this is Winston and Chuck McCall, and you know Winston pretty good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Winston and who he is?
Winston's a 9-year-old black lab male that is, this is his 4th crown to qualify for. Second one with Chuck. He ran it with, or maybe his 3rd. He ran it with his owner, Wesley Ham, last year. But the neat thing about Winston, he's qualified for the crown, I think, with 4 different handlers over the years. One with Chuck, one with Wesley, one with my daughter, Allie Grace, who ran him in the SRSU a couple years ago. She didn't run him, though. And then I actually qualified Winston this year at Retriever Town's amateur event. I ran him because he and Chuck needed 1 more point to qualify, and they were running out of time. So I said, well, I gave him, and he and I got a second. So I'm not saying I was happy that Chuck qualified him in Arkansas, but I was a little disappointed because I could have had the opportunity to run him here. But Winston's a very special dog. He's very good, and he spent some time in the field trial world.
I believe he qualified for the crown with Ryan as well.
That's right. That's the other front. And Ryan, he got him from Ryan Rapond.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that's right. And Ryan ran him in 20, and they actually made it to the semifinals. So yes.
I just love those dogs that are so receptive to different handlers. Just a great quality. That wind's really starting to really get established.
He stayed on the mat.
I'd have been very shocked to see Winston move at all.
That's a decoy.
Ron, you train with him all the time. Does Chuck ever lose his cool?
Very rarely. He's about as cool and calm as they come.
Chuck won the Nike Award for a reason.
That is right.
Amen.
Yeah.
God, this is a nice run right here. Not a bad place to be. See, good stop. You let him get too far, it's hard to get him back to the left.
Well, he's not moving there right away. He's
I
walking
can
that
see
cast
him.
out. Now this left-handed cast is a little bit of an into the wind cast. You got it?
You're looking at the shaded side of that pavilion now. It might be the depth perception might be a little tougher with it.
Guys, could you tell him to hit the slot?
dart right?
Yeah, he got the slot and then looked like he went right down that road we were talking about. Y'all were talking about
He
earlier.
got the bird down.
Yeah.
But
Going right down that road yesterday and with this left to right wind wasn't a problem. I don't think it's going to be much fun today. It's just getting through that keyhole right there with the sea of that road.
Does he have the bird yet?
Bird blind planted?
Well, you got to wonder, don't you? I thought he
you
went
got to
right
wonder
to the
now
stake.
if it's planted. You're right.
You know, that was good luck for me. And in the first 3 nationals I finished, they forgot to plant a blind.
Oh, wow.
It was like, at first you want to lose your cool, but you know, I'm sure he scored
That can't be. I'm
to that
thinking he's
point.
been all
It'll
over
just,
it.
but you hope it. I got to believe.
He's been at the pole 3
I've got to.
Oh, yeah, the way that tail was wagging, he
there's no
smelled that
bird down.
scent. I mean, he was giving that tail wag that indicates, hey.
Okay, so I don't know what it's like in your game.
Let's see.
But if they tell you to pick up, you have to be able to pick this dog up. If he calls him in.
So he ran out.
Did he throw him a bird?
I'm not sure what he did.
And what do you do here? What are you going to do as a judge right here?
I would have him stop the dog, and I would have the bird boy with that.
Oh, yep. They walked out and threw him one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't planted.
Yeah, because if you tell him to pick him up, there's a risk of him coming and picking up a poison bird.
Correct.
So guys, let me explain what's going to happen here as a veteran of this, and Luke, you can, I'm sure will concur. He made it to that stake the first time. The judges right now, they're looking back at their notes. They know when he hit that stake the first time, and they are going to end their scoring right there.
Correct.
Because there was not a bird there. After that, the dog had done his job. If there'd been a bird at the stake, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he would have picked it up, and the scoring is going to stop right there. And now we're going to move on, and they will resume scoring as soon as he kicks him off here on this bird.
Yeah, I think they did the right thing there.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I mean, whether at that point, if you don't have great communication with your blind planner, and if he would have tried to pick him up and rerun this, there was a risk of
I think
him grabbing
he
a
just
poison.
planted the water blind.
On his way back?
Yep.
Oh, so
yeah,
they didn't
I
get
did
it
see him
either
run
and
over and do
plant
that, yes.
Well,
in the water.
Come on, get wet, Winston.
tell you, the dogs have been a little bit cranky about getting in the water here.
Acting like it's cold or something.
Man,
know,
that
isn't
was
that
a
something?
very nice recovery, though.
Yeah, he
The judges clearly stated that the dog had to be wet right of that decoy, and he was. Very nice.
the
line
way the
right
sun's
there.
shining, that right, that the poison bird isn't quite as obvious, at least from the angle we're looking at.
Right, it's not glowing as much as it was.
I guarantee you
yesterday,
Winston
for
can see it,
But,
though.
but let's see, the wind is coming off of it, so. But he's cutting in there now.
Great
Ooh,
whistle
see him
shot.
look at it right as he blew that whistle. Ooh, ooh.
Nice, guys.
Oh, good push off there.
Oh my goodness.
It was a good push.
That was a heck of a cast.
Looks like he's got just a little bit right.
The glare's got to be getting tough for the handler to see.
You can see Chuck covering his eyes.
I would think the handlers show up pretty good. You know, aren't they front lid here?
The handler, though, he's going like this.
Yeah.
Trying to see the
Yeah,
dog.
no, it's hard for the handler to see the dog, but I think probably the dog has a pretty good vision of the handlers.
Hey, we're sitting under a tent, and it's hard for me to see the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He's standing out there in the wide open.
Yeah, he's in a good, pretty good spot here. Just a little bit wide of the bird.
I tell you, the ribbon there shows up a lot better today than it did yesterday for the handlers to see, though, to finish this blind.
Yeah.
Had a couple handlers tell me yesterday they had a hard time locating the ribbon at the
Hanging
end.
on the wrong side.
Ooh, he put him just upwind of that blind. Yeah, there you go. That's where that discipline of a coming whistle pays off. Okay.
Nice job, I think.
Pat, I really think that being able to give a come in and an over together to get that angle in is just as important as teaching an angle back.
Well, without a doubt, that come in whistle's your lifeline. That's your, and I've always told my handlers in that position, I want to have all 3 blasts of the come in whistle come out of my mouth before I move, because you got to account for the time. If you move and give the cast and give the come in simultaneously, the dog sees the cast before he hears the come in. And if you're in a tough spot, a lot of times they dig back there. Now you got a little room behind it here. It isn't quite as crucial, but sometimes you come up right on a levee and they dive over the backside, and now you're in a world of hurt. So you got to account for the time the time it takes the sound to get there. And that's why a lot of times I blow all 3 blasts of the come in prior to moving. Because if they come straight in, the right-handed cast isn't hard. But if they dig back and they really come and then they find the blind planter trail, sometimes you can get in real trouble.
Yeah, I've seen so many of them follow that scent back.
Oh yeah.
I was showing that I'm on a group text with Wesley Ham, who owns Winston now, and Ryan Rapone, and he just texted me and said, "Why does controversy always follow Winston?" So, which is true.
Wesley
Winston's
an attorney?
Always,
Isn't Wesley an attorney?
No.
I don't know why I thought that.
And the other reason now that it's done, you laughed at Luke and I when we said he stayed on the mat, and you said, "Oh, I didn't think he would." If you remember last year, that's what Ryan and Wesley's also talking about. Winston came off remember he finished that 3rd series, and then they went back and looked at the footage and realized he had come off the mat, and you weren't allowed to come off the mat. So yes, and then he went. But
I forgot. Yes.
So that's why I made that comment.
Wesley, you're correct.
Yeah. After the facts, after he stayed on the mat. So anyway.
But Wesley, you've got a lot to be proud of. That was still a very solid run. I think that's going to be good enough to bring him back to play in the 12 for sure. We'll have to wait and see. Still a lot of dog work left here.
Dogs left. Yeah,
a bunch of them to go. Who do we got coming to the line here? We got Hatch and Lyle Steinman.
And I'll tell you, what he did really nice, he kept his cool at the end of that blind when the blind wasn't down. It's easy to panic there as a handler.
Very much so, and it's hard to reflect back on your score because it sticks in your head. So when you try to think about how you did, it's hard to take that part of it out of your head when you're thinking. This is Hatch, handled by Lyle Steinman. Hatch won Team of the Year a few years ago, and the Steinman family donated the winnings from their Team of the Year to the Noyes Children's Home in St. Joseph, Missouri.
And folks, we are just now right past our halfway mark. Winston was the 9th dog to run, Hatch 10th, so 9 down, 9 to go, starting with Hatch here. Hatch and Law coming with a 2-day total of 89.
Hatch is one of those all-around dogs. He's an SRS champion, a field champion, hunting retriever champion, master hunter. He's kind of done it all.
There's the first person to give a verbal over. And he took back, didn't he?
Yeah, and he didn't get a great initial line, pretty far left. Working through it. It's one thing you think about those camera guys out there in the field with another holding blind. The camera guys out there in another holding blind can sometimes distract the dog and maybe think that that's another gun station, and that might have had something to do with sucking Hatch over there towards that direction.
I'm surprised more dogs didn't dig back on that cast.
I agree with that.
Tell you, I'm surprised it's taken so many whistles to get through that first gap. What have we seen here?
Winston and Chuck had a 48. Nice run.
Wow, really good run. It should put them in first place.
Yeah. Got it.
Man.
He was patient there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he knew he had to have a little risk after that little start. That was a good job.
Don't think he was happy with the beginning, but I'm sure he was happy with the finish there.
Yeah, he recovered and got him back on line. Once he got him on line, the blind went smooth.
So he took his handling gloves off. He had black gloves on initially.
Wonder
right?
why.
I don't know why.
Sometimes you just gotta get a different feel.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
When it doesn't start off great, you just gotta change something.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that blind gave Chuck and Winston the lead with a 148.
Okay. You think he was knowing him off the poison
I think
bird?
so. I think so.
At first I thought, is he going to send him with no hands on this blind? But he actually probably cued him on the poison bird and told him no bird again. I would. Yeah. Well, there's one that lined in pretty.
Oh.
Well, he's dead at the bird now. Angling in just ever so slightly to the point. Is he gonna? Oof. Wow. Well.
Yeah, I saw him take a look at
He
it.
obviously knew something about this dog because he didn't
he's
blow a whistle
trusting
on the
him.
point. And that dog carried that beautifully.
I think Lyle was the first handler that we've seen actually kind of point that dog out there and tell him no bird on that too. It looks like it paid off.
It did pay off, didn't it? You know, I'm wondering, like, do you think there's a risk if with this wind if you stop them on that point? That you turn them around and they win that poison bird?
I think it's, it just always depends on the momentum. I think he had that left to right momentum, so he was okay with it. I think
he
if you
set
got
it
that
up
right
nice,
to
didn't
left
he?
momentum, then you're going to put the dog in the scent cone, so then you have to blow the whistle.
So basically you're saying it depends on the dog.
That's right. Just like everything.
Don't you hate that?
I'll go back to yesterday. For me, Pat, it's where
That was
they
a good water blind.
come across that point at. If they look like they're about to push back off in the water, I'm not going to blow that
Well, I
whistle
got
there.
it. Sure, you bet.
I mean, and I'm probably going to err more to the side of the dog. You know, he's got to show me, indicate to me that he's going to hook a little bit in there before I'm going to blow that whistle.
Well,
But
he set it up perfectly. He stopped him in the water right before the point, established like 1 o'clock momentum, I'm going to call it, right? And the dog carried that 1 o'clock momentum across the point. That was as pretty as you're going to get on that back half there.
after a rocky start on the land blind, you said you break them into thirds. I would say that 2/3 of both these blinds he did very, very well.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe 5/6 overall.
Well, I was going to say, really, his only
the first
deal
third
was the beginning of the land blind.
Yep. Feel a breeze really starting to pick up, and if you take a look out here to the lake,
Yeah,
to the
it's
right of the dog,
definitely-
you can see the ripples starting.
It feels like it's establishing what it's going to stay. Like,
If it stays this way, right about where that dog is now, they're going to start winding that poison bird.
Lyle giving his appreciation to the judges and the marshals for setting up a test and putting in their time.
that was always a tradition in the 10th series. I've just never seen any. Does he do it every time he runs? Because I've watched him the other time.
Generally we do it when we run the last dog of the series.
Yeah.
So each series when we run our last dog, we'll go and thank the judges and the marshals
Perfect.
for their
Well.
time. Because you never know if you're coming back, you know.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
You might not get a chance to shake their hand again.
Yeah, but I tell you, you're right, and this is it's a sacrifice to judge one of these things.
Yep,
It's
that's
a lot
right.
of work.
Yeah, and it's
It's
over a
exhausting.
week of their time, and now we're going to have Carter Turner and Joe. Carter's going to bump up a few spots to give him some time between his dogs, so he doesn't have to run back to back.
Well.
Joe and Carter are coming in with a total score of 85.
This is
I
almost
tell you, you
dead
got to be
battery.
ready because the
Brandon brought me,
conditions
so
are
I'm gonna
starting
need
to
another
change.
battery, somebody.
Yeah, that's not snow. Yeah, this says snow, but this is Joe.
We got till the next dog.
And Carter Turner.
Well, Snow and Joe rhyme. I mean, hey.
That's right. Close enough, huh?
And Snow is listed, to give our guys in the truck credit, Snow is listed on the running order as following Hatch, but to give Carter time between dogs, because when you take a look at the last 7 dogs to run, Carter has 4 of them. So they're going to have to break it up. There we go. We've got our graphic corrected. Thanks, guys. Y'all have done a great job, too. Big shout out to the entire crew here.
Joe is owned by Wade Skipper. Carter comes from Mossy Pond Retrievers, and they had a phenomenal year. They had a lot of dogs qualified. I believe they had 10 dogs qualified.
Carter gave him a back there.
It might have came off the mat there. You could see him bouncing on that one foot.
You think he was conscious of it?
It appeared to be he was balancing on his right foot to try to do his best to stay on the mat.
And there's a dog that wants to get in the water.
Yep.
First time we've seen that on this landline.
Lyle and Hatch with a 58. Great run. He recovered from that rough beginning very well and saved him.
Yeah, and he kept us cool because it'd have been easy to kind of lose it there with that rough start. He turned that into a good score, didn't he?
Yeah, with that 58, he started with an 89. That gives him a 147.
This is not an easy cast here now. No. You get a couple digbacks here, and you're going to miss that. Okay, when that dog came in, he helped his cause a little bit. Oh, now you got to bump him over now.
Yesterday the sun wasn't out, so there wasn't a shade under that shed. Do you think that shade's got anything to do with creating a little bit of a wall through that slot?
Well, yeah, I do, don't you?
I would think so, a little bit.
Because before that, it was really, in a lot of ways, it was just looked like a couple fence posts.
Right.
But now that dark shade almost looks like a line of cover or something. It's different than its surrounding.
You get a little shine from that tin, so they almost know they're running at some kind of structure now. And instead of yesterday, it just was appearance of 4 poles.
Thank you. Okay.
Make it.
Tell you what, Bobby Wills just stepped up here. Bobby, stick around with us. Don't you go anywhere. Gonna watch Carter finish his water blind there, and then we'd like to get a little bit of insight from you. Also, we want to thank Ron Anderson for coming up here and sticking around with us. I know it was heartbreaking with Rip yesterday. Nice to hear his thoughts on that. Man, good start here, guys. What do you think?
Well, this dog wanted to line in on the landline. So
yeah, that's right.
Letting him roll.
Ooh, wee.
He's got to gamble.
Yeah.
Ooh, wee.
He missed a shed out there. Got 50, I think. So he's going to have to gamble try to cut down his points.
Ooh, he's going to smell it here too, isn't he? Oh boy.
He needs a special one here. Got it.
Oh, that one.
That whistle change.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he blew that.
He blew the monster.
The 911 whistle.
To the monster.
Whatever he did, it worked.
It did work, didn't it?
Hey, put this in the tent. We gotta be really careful not to talk over each other.
Boy, I've really witnessed some great handling here. I mean, a lot of good decisions by these guys. And
tell you what, I'm glad I'm not gambling on this because I'd have lost a lot of bets. Starting with Ron and Rip, and right there, I really didn't see that great recovery coming. Hats off to Carter Turner. Great recovery. And how brilliant was it to switch whistles there?
yeah, even if you aren't going to switch whistles, you better blow a much more aggressive, intense whistle.
I tell you, I think that switch had a lot to do with it. You know, the dog hears something completely different. It's got to shock him and surprise him a little bit.
Especially because it was louder.
All right, well, he's cleaned that one up while we're waiting for his score. We got Bobby here. Now, Bobby, you came in 18th place. You're already locked in to move into the 12. Tell us a little bit about what you think about this test and your move.
I think I got lucky. I run early. The sun wasn't out. The wind wasn't blowing. I don't know if Old Legend just did a great job or didn't see the poison bird on the second point, but he never paid any attention to it. So because it all worked out for us, but this is a tough competition. This is a very tough test, but most of these guys, as y'all have seen, they're going to do it. I mean, you can set up any blind in the world just about it, and these boys are going to get it done. They're good at what they do.
Well, that's for sure. But I'll tell you what, it's moved you up. You are now in 4th place with, I believe, 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to go.
So guaranteed 12.
I'm going to disagree with one thing you said.
Yes, sir.
That you got lucky. You didn't get lucky. You made that happen.
Well, I wanted to come to the tent and meet the man, the myth, and the legend. We're real proud to have you here.
Amen.
I'm happy to be here.
We've been listening to your insight, and I think some people have been listening and then go do it. What he said about the map on the previous series,
yes, sir,
or maybe the first series about kicking the dog off on the right or the left. I think I seen some people doing it after I heard that come across the live channel there, and they're taking his advice serious.
Tell you, we see Carter walk by here with a big old smile on his face. I think he's tickled to death to survive that. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm good.
Says he's feeling good. Yeah, and Bobby's exactly right, man. It's been a privilege to have Pat here. So much learning. I know you're a big student of the game, Bobby, and always trying to pick up anything you can. It's got to be a special treat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love to listen to the knowledge, and because everybody thinks I'm the old man of this crew, because I probably am, of the SRS bunch, and it's good to have somebody that's been in the field trial game and can pass on that knowledge to us.
A lot of good information. Well, Bobby, we're going to go back to the action here as we see the poison bird thrown there for Clark. But man, congratulations. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, us being teammates, but I'm proud of you, buddy. Congratulations for making it.
Y'all doing a great job.
Yes, sir.
Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, so I'm so sorry.
All right.
We've got Lee Howard and
Lee Howard, yes.
Thank you. And Lee and Carter Turner are teammates from Mossy Pond.
Thank you also to Ron Anderson for joining us today, man. Really enjoyed having him. Yeah, they're all wearing that old KW1.
Joe and Carter Turner had a 195.
They gave up a little bit of ground there. So see the score.
Snow and Lee had a phenomenal run in the first series. Really came out
14.
strong. Yeah, 14. It really came out strong in the first one.
Now, Snow had that looping turn. I liked where Carter stopped Snow, but that looping turn to the right gave up some ground. We've seen that if you're that far right at that point, yep, it's almost impossible.
Your observation of that shade is significant.
You know, Luke, Pat, we have seen that yesterday with the AMs and then today with the pros. There's a spot there where if you are that far to the right and you're at a certain depth, I don't know that we've seen a single one of them make it through the goalpost.
What do you think is causing the dogs to not be able to see the handlers here, Pat? Reflection of all the canopies and...
Not sure, but one thing I am certain of, Snow, Lee just gave up 50 points there by
missing that slot.
That's a hard,
You see the number on Lee's arm is 93, which means he was the second dog to run. And a lot of times when you are in the first bunch of dogs to run, it doesn't go so well. And you see that even though he got the early running order, he's made the top 18 and had a good week.
Very, very hard to put down a score like he did that holds when you're running second out of 94
Yeah,
dogs.
that's right.
Very difficult. Lee knows he's got some ground to make up. I think you're going to see him really attack this. Got to be wet to the right of that, judges.
But I tell you, that unnerves you because you got to go by the next thing that looks like a bird, which is a bird.
Right.
I believe he just picked up another 50 points.
No, you just have to be on the point to the right. You have to be dry to the right of that decoy before you get back in the water.
Yeah, but he's
Thank you for that.
That may be the least of his worries.
Yeah. You think?
Because this dog doesn't.
I like that come in.
Yeah.
Regroup.
I'll tell you what, though, he's not done yet. Oof, he needed that stop.
Tough break there for Lee Howell and Snow. Dang.
Once again, you hate to see it end that way, but congratulations to Lee and Snow on a great year and making it to the top 18 in the Crown Championship.
You know, I've heard this before. I never lose. I either win or I learn.
That's right. That's a good way to put it.
And this is a good way of...
That really is good.
Sometimes those are hard lessons. That was probably a pretty good example. But once again, that dog was fighting him the whole way on that water part. And when that dog dove in on that first decoy, you had to wonder if he was going to get by the next.
Next up, we're going to have Rhodey Best and Macy, owned by Sid Junick. And something pretty cool to have here for Rhodey and the Best Retrievers crew is JJ is actually the mother of Macy. And so he had both of the dogs that Rhodey has in the top 18 are mother and daughter, and Macy is out of Rhodey's dog Blue, bred to JJ. So this is kind of a close to home breeding for the Best Retrievers crew, and they've been able to watch her grow from the time she was a puppy. Sid's been a very dedicated owner, and he loves the game and has been learning a lot, and he puts in the work to work with Macy and work with Rhodey and to get them where they're at.
Boy, you can just look at Rhodey. He's focused and in the zone.
You can see Macy has a lot of similarities in her look to JJ, her mom, who ran earlier. Macy's got some intensity and she's got some speed.
And I think from this point on, gentlemen, we're going to see Carter Turner's going to follow him, and then he's going to be every other dog the rest of the way through. I would imagine since he's got Cappy in first and Shooter in second, they'll probably run Chief and Justin in between those two.
Looks like we've got a no bird here.
You know, to me, that's some interesting position. He put that dog on the front left corner of the mat.
My first indication would be he might be thinking she's going to be a water seeker. So he's trying to get her as far left as he can. So if she takes that initial line towards the water, it gives him room to keep her on land.
That's a great observation, Luke. I didn't think of that, but I would definitely think you're right. Pat, I'll tell you another reason you've asked a couple times about the dropping back three. When you start getting down to the quarters and the semis with a lot of these guys with multiple dogs, it's almost impossible to do.
Yeah. Realistic.
She is staring that bird down. Look at that focus. Looky there.
pretty established left to right crosswind now,
Yep.
which I think are affecting some of these left-handed casts. You see how that, whether that dog was breaking for the holding blind or fading with the wind. Now there's an awful good cast there.
He did a really good job with the first 2/3 of this blind. Now let's see he gets down here.
He goes
to the red
verbal
zone.
with his downwind cast, which is exactly what I would suggest doing. Ooh, you nailed a good
spot
cast here. Ooh, good.
Now do you?
He's still got a
it's too
chance. Her
deep
head's
now.
in front of it.
Is he in front of it?
Her head is in front of it.
All right,
Still
let's
got a
call
chance.
the dog in.
See her hit that decoy. See that decoy shaking? She hit it with her nose when she turned.
I think on the previous whistle, I would have called her in a little bit.
At that point, you're kind of, it goes down to that discussion. Oh, she's going right. Brody can't see her. Gets to that discussion of you're worried about the judges thinking that she's already deep of it when you know you got a shot.
Oh, see where she is? She's over by the...
I'd have made them decide.
That's right.
She's over by the blind. This dog's in real trouble. She's over by the blind planter for the...
Yep, she saw that holding blind over there and got sucked in. And he's got this other blind here.
Yeah, she's on top of the water blind. Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be hard to... What do you do here? You call her in, you call her
you
right
call her
into
in
that
and pick up
water
the
blind.
And over.
Good
Got
catch.
out of there, but that's a long way from where that dog is to where it needs to get to with the... Well,
Pat, I've got to go back to something you said in the very... See, as she goes right over in, you said in the very first series. These dogs are using everything that they can, and you've got that path right there that young man's been walking to plant that blind every time. And she's processing that information, and even though he's fighting to get her back to the left, all the information that she's getting there is, I need to go right. Dang.
So she's picked up the bird at the water blind, which is picking him up out of order.
So she's done.
Which is going to give her disqualification. But, Macy's a young dog. There's a lot going on. Those young dogs get out there and they see the holding blinds and the decoys and can get them in excited and get them into hunt mode. And like you said, she probably followed the scent trail of the bird boy planting that blind. And still got to be proud of Rhodey and Macy for making it this far and having a good year to get qualified. Again, she's a young dog and has come a long way. So I don't think this is going to be the last time we'll see Macy at the Crown Championship.
No, amen. I'm so proud to see Rhodey back here. He's been doing it for a very, very long time. One of the veterans of it for sure. Kind of backed off of the SRS a little bit for a couple of years, but boy, he has come back really, really strong.
He's had a great year. Got 7 dogs qualified himself, and then a couple of his assistants, Kerrigan and Dakota, got dogs qualified themselves. So they brought 9 dogs to the Crown Championship this year.
Amen.
That's impressive. So what have we had? How many dogs
We've
have
had
picked
four.
up?
We've had
four
we've
DQs?
had one pickup that did not pick up that just didn't finish Gus, and then we've had 3. Well, 2 pick up the poison bird, and now 1 pick up the blind. So we've had 4 DQs. I don't think we had 4 DQs in the amateurs. I could take a look at my notes, but I believe it was only 3. I could be wrong though. I've been wrong before. Just ask my wife. She'll tell you quick.
Sure.
We had exactly 4 in the amateur that didn't complete the test. So now we've had 4 here. More importantly, that has allowed some dogs to make some big moves here.
Well, that's exactly where I'm going with that. Some of those bubble dogs may have gotten second life there.
Oh, without a doubt.
Now, I believe this is Carter Turner in blue coming to the line.
Yeah, that's what it shows on the
I believe
screen.
that it is, yes. We'll get you some updated scores here in a minute across the board. Start out with Carter in blue
Boy,
here
it's
first.
really You got a big cast there. Really took his time on that first cast.
Blue is owned by Chris Floyd.
Carter's working really, really hard to hit that first set of markers. Made it through. Got Blue through where he needed to be and avoided that first 50-point trap.
There's that whistle change by Carter again. It's not something you see very often as a handler changes between two whistles during a blind.
Back when the Green Monster first came on the scene, you would see it once in a while, a little more frequently. What whistle do you blow, Pat, in competition?
The whistle I made, the Green Monster. I was the guy that built that.
Yeah.
I used it for the first time in 2003 National Open. Finished that national with Cherokee Rose. Everybody come out, what in the world are you blowing?
I love that. You impress me more and more, buddy, and I learn more and more cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I had decided the technology of our collars, training, everything has evolved, but our whistles haven't. And I started researching why these P-less whistles and what they were for, and I learned a lot about, how the frequency they were using to penetrate crowd noise in stadiums and so on and so forth. So I started dabbling with it, and well.
Man, let's take a look here at the scores as we've got them again. Chuck McCall and Winston in first, Lyle and Hatch in second with 147. Clark and Daisy, 155. Fourth there you see Bobby Wills, who came in here in 18th place. He and Legend have made a big move. We'll come back and take a look at those again in a minute, but first let's come back to Carter here and Blue.
Well, he's
putting him on the right and giving him a big
definitely
push.
Convincing him, getting the get in the water there. Boy, what a great view. Look at that right there.
It is a good view. Camera crew here has done a wonderful job.
This dog, he got through that landmine, but he fought him on change of direction, and Carter knows he's got to dig in here.
This is the third dog that Carter's ran here, and all three of them have really fought him
automatic?
there.
Ooh, we better.
Oh man. Wow. Another one, that's 5 we've lost today. Didn't think we would see that many dogs in the open go down.
Conditions change.
That's all right.
There's
once again, you still got to be proud of the dog for making it here.
Amen. Well, pretty remarkable for Carter to make it here with 5. He's lost 2, but he's still got 1 in, and he's got 2 more to go. So can't even come close to counting him out yet. But I could bet you this: when his dog hits that first point and comes off to go the second, next 2 times, his blood pressure is going to be a little bit elevated after these first 3. I know mine would be.
Sometimes it makes you handle better. Sometimes it rattles you. It'll be interesting to see.
I think
he
it's gonna
doesn't
make the
seem
show
like a
man
guy
up.
that gets rattled.
No.
He's been in the driver's seat enough times to where he keeps his composure very well.
Yeah, I think he's going to continue to battle hard. No, I had no idea about that with the Green Monster. You know the thing that I love best about your invention? I immediately adopted it. I don't like wearing that heavy bell around my neck. So that little Acme Thunder whistle, that's the guts of it. That's what I wear in my yard training every day.
It's a good whistle all by itself.
Wonderful, wonderful whistle. So when I come to the line at a test, I usually have both. And
that whistle was born when I went to that Auburn Sports Medicine Symposium and met a veterinarian named Dr. Orville Marshall, and he's the guy that I told you that suggested putting foam earplugs in dogs' ears for hunting to preserve their hearing. And he talked about the frequency ranges that dogs hear best, and it just got my mind working. Let's play with this a little bit. I never would have guessed it would have turned out like it did. And you know who named it the Green Monster? Last year's judge here, Jerry Day.
Really?
It had a different name, and Jerry says, "You got to call this the Green Monster," and it stuck.
Wow.
So I guess Jerry still had dogs afield at that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Couldn't make them fast enough. Who would have thought?
Do you still produce them today, or do you farm that out? Or did you sell
I do
that
not. They're not made today. I've been dabbling, working with University of Massachusetts at Lowell, some graduate students on trying to make a better version. I'm trying to do something with the whistle itself to make it a little easier to blow, create a little more back pressure so you can blow a longer whistle.
That's the thing on the early Green Monsters. I would always buy half a dozen at a time, and then I would go through them to figure out the couple I liked, and then the others I'd just break that little whistle out and keep it to use, because I tend to chew on the whistle a lot in training and go through them pretty quick. But you got the consistency down though after a year or two.
The most minute difference in the whistle itself can make such a huge difference in tone and ease of blowing, just like a duck call.
Yep.
So are they still offered commercially?
Pardon me?
So can you still buy them online?
No, you cannot.
Wow.
Not yet. But there's a lot of guys that have taken it and run with it.
Yeah.
Well, the Dallasassi, did I pronounce that correct?
Dick Dallasassi. Richard Dallasassi was the first guy to grab that. And
Run, Forrest, run.
he just went to an auto parts store and grabbed a funnel, plastic oil funnel, and tweaked it and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And
Waiting on you?
then he started producing them.
Cannot remember what the components of it were. I think it might have been a funnel also, but back in the day, Derek Randall, who was a veteran of the SRS in the early days, had a wonderful dog. Actually won a couple of weekend events and never won a crown. A dog named Stella, and when she started to go deaf, he hunted over a lot. He built this huge thing, and he called it the law. Loud ass whistle.
Loud ass whistle. That's funny. You know what? I haven't seen somebody blow that storm whistle that's been modified.
Yeah, I haven't.
And that's a whistle I see some handlers blow.
I've
and
seen
I
it
have
in the
not
field
seen
trials
anybody
quite a
here
bit,
blow.
but I haven't seen it here either yet. Next up, we're gonna have Steven Durrance and Jack. Jack is owned by Melissa Lutz, and Jack's a Grand Hungry Retriever champion, master hunter. And he also had a really good year. This is Steven's first time on the line in the top 18. This is Jack and Steven had a great year and got qualified and had some very good success in our weekend SRS events. This is Jack's first year to compete in the SRS, and he had a 3rd and 3/6. So Jack is a win away from getting his title.
Tell you what, it's been a while since we've had a really good job, isn't it?
So you can qualify for the crown on points, but to get the title, you have to get the win.
Yeah, so the win is similar to a field trial. You have to have a win with 10 points to get your title. There was a dog named Man that Clark Kennington used to run who had to have 40-something points and didn't get his win, so he was never actually as SRS champion. He was just always in the top 3, but just couldn't get that win.
Well, yeah,
that was hard to read. That was a good job by Steven. The dog was zigzagging through there.
But the dog did make it through.
He got it through.
That's all that matters.
Well, you're right. I mean, you're thinking, do I need to blow? But if you blow, where are you going to cast at that point?
Coming up right like the last dog did.
Guys, something has changed dramatically here. Yesterday, if you were that far deep to the right, it was automatic that you were going to pick up that blind.
Do you think maybe with it being back in that tuck, the wind's being blocked because it's left or right, so it's not coming off of it as well with that grass line? Because he was where you needed to be, but
yeah, but he wound up getting it. But
he saved that deal, though.
Yeah.
But after watching what happened to Brody, that
makes you nervous.
That might give you a heart attack.
Also got to wonder when the dog starts to wander back there and gets out to the right, how the judges are scoring that. You got to think that's probably more than just a 2-point penalty.
Right. Jack's got some speed. Steven's a two-sided guy, so we'll see what side he puts Jack on. Looks like he's going to keep him on the left.
And the classic two-sided guys are going to run that off the left if they think a dog wants to get in the water.
Yeah, they're going to keep
look
him
at, he
tight
just
to the
switched up. He didn't
Okay.
like the look he had.
Yeah.
So he said, this dog, he's looking a little more towards the land. You can see now. See the dog's head looking a little left? I can see why what he didn't like about
Trying to
that look he
block
had.
him a little bit with the body there.
You're trying to influence him. We call that closing the door when you step up on him on that side.
You got the initial line.
You got him started, but now he's got to get him.
A really good sit whistle on that dog.
Mm-hmm. And the tail's cracking.
And Steven
he's
really
waiting,
drew that.
Waiting. Oh, yeah. Ooh, what do we got going there?
He's thinking. I think he
Yeah.
smelled that other
Is that a
poison
little
bird and decided
beginning of
to
a
stick.
hunt?
I think he smelled that short poison bird and he decided the water was the better
yeah,
choice.
I think you're probably right.
But if he smelled that there, he's definitely
What's he
going to
gonna
get a
smell
snoop
here?
for this one here.
Well, hopefully he makes the same
Well,
decision he
he's
made the
out
first
a little
time.
wide. So you tuck him in early so you can reestablish right momentum. I guess the dog made that decision for him, but he's not going there because he's trying to get on line. He's going there to get to land or the poison bird. So you got to change that attitude right away.
Gotta get that.
Looks like
there
he's
you
going to
go.
angle in. When do you blow here?
Stop now.
Scary spot.
Ooh. See him look over at the poison bird? Ooh. Oh.
Got him off of it.
Oh.
Get on that point now,
Now you got to get the
Yeah,
point.
he's got to get dry. He's going to have to
Go
cast
verbal with
him.
the left here. I'll tell you what. Oh my goodness.
Man.
I'll tell you what, guys.
This is really, this is shocking to me.
Man, that's not something you see Steven Durrance do very often. Steven's one of the veterans of the sport. He's won the crown 4 times. He's always successful when he's here, but
he didn't make any mistakes. He just, the dog
just smelled that bird and couldn't resist. Jack's a young, fast dog. Makes it tough.
When he did everything he could do, he recognized it. He got him out wide, but you had, having to get that point, you weren't going to be able to avoid that altogether.
Jack's first year competing in the SRS and getting qualified for the crown and making the top 18 is still an incredible accomplishment. So congratulations to Jack and the Taylor Farm Kennels family.
I'll tell you guys, Pat, I'd like to hear your take on this. The first indication to me was when Jack was beside that bird and we saw him actually, he's floating in the water. He actually raises up on it and brings his torso up out of the water while he's looking at that bird. At that point, I know in the dogs I've trained in the past, when one does that, I usually think,
it's a code red at that
oh
point.
yeah, I'm in trouble. Call the Harvey team. This is going downhill fast. And when I saw that dog raise up like that, looking at that bird, I just felt like, man, this is probably not going to end well.
Guys, do you realize what this is doing to the scores?
Man,
Yeah,
this is going to flip.
How many have we had?
5
in the open division.
In the open division, 5 have dropped.
Wow.
5 have dropped. Well, I said Friday was moving day.
Yeah, but these are the 5, a bunch of the top dogs coming in here.
And another top
These are
dog
the
here.
low
Yeah,
scores.
now we got Shooter and Carter Turner. Shooter was our Eukanuba Team of the Year winner this year on the open side. He's proven his consistency by making the top 18.
And was a finalist last year and the year prior.
Yep, with Lee Howard.
Yep.
Another team member of the Mossy Pond team, and this year he's competing with Carter Turner, and they've had a phenomenal year as well.
Very impressed with the graciousness of Lee Howard, the fact that he could turn this dog over to Carter. Young man, give him an opportunity.
So what are you thinking here now? You're him right now. What are you going to do different that the other handlers didn't do right now?
I think you have the ability to play it a little safer than others before. When you're really trying to compete to hold that top 6 spot, you had a few guys get some really good runs. You had to really attack it. But now that you've had 5 go out, I think you have the ability to play this blind a little bit safer. And I think you would choose to attack that land blind really hard, so you have the room to be safe and maybe take a few offline penalties and play that water blind a little bit safer and just try to get the tip of it rather than trying to get the whole meat of that point where that poison bird is.
That it should point out that Shooter, even though he's running third from last, comes in here in second place. However, they've shuffled the order, and Carter's coming in and running third, so Justin can come in between with Chief, and then Carter will come back and finish it out with Cappy.
Goes with a no hands back there. He did it twice.
Great job.
That's something you see Carter do a lot when he's looking for not a whole lot of change. He's just looking to build some momentum and continue that drive.
Man, this is a nervous moment.
What do you put him a little bit left here? Oh, you wait too long.
As fast as Shooter is.
You got one cast.
Got
Ooh,
it.
He got it.
Good Lord.
You got it.
Now you got to feed it to him. You cannot take this ending for granted. And it's hard to see him there. They're just over the crest of the hill.
I think he's got it. Shooter is just so fast, so it's hard to tell. Now you don't see the dog. I would expect him to be coming back by now. And this is.
Looks like he's right. There he is.
Yeah, he's definitely right. He's running. Boy,
that tail popping. He's following that scent trail J. Paul was talking about earlier.
I love.
You know what I'm hoping now?
What's that?
I hope there's not a bird down.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'd love to see him score me, and it is possible.
Yeah, because he was right there.
Because they didn't have to plant the water blind.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, you've got a very good point. I didn't think about that.
He's there.
Oh, he got it though.
You got
How?
Not there is a bird.
Did he miss
It's okay.
that the first
That's
time?
okay.
Is there a chance he was behind it?
I think so. I think maybe the.
Now that I think he actually was behind it.
I'll tell you, I love this dog, so I watch him really closely.
Yeah.
He's another one of those dogs like Jordan, Legend, Rip that I watch every single time. And he's been very, very consistent coming in here in second place, very often in the top 5 toward the end of it. His style and his speed are one of the reasons I love him, but also that speed, he can get in trouble in a heartbeat, even trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shooter's a good dog. I don't think Shooter's one of those dogs that is a challenge to handle because he's not a compliant dog. He's a challenge to handle because he's so fast and so stylish.
You talk about Lee, handing over the reins on Shooter to Carter, and I think Lee is, when you think of Mossy Pond, you think of their head coach as Lee Howard, and I think he's all about the dog, keeping the dog successful and keeping Mossy Pond successful. And since Carter and Shooter had such a great year, I think Lee felt like Carter and Shooter deserved the chance to take on the crown.
Hey man, I think Lee is the ultimate player coach. Got a young gun coming up in his organization, giving him a chance, being unselfish. That's off to Lee for that.
Gave him
Did he say good boy?
Gave him a little good boy there.
Oh, for
stay in
lining into the water.
I love this kid's attitude toward his dogs, too.
How do you not? He's just trying to softly talk him in because the dog, he dives in the water early because he's trying to be safe. So you need to relax this dog a little bit, but hopefully not too much. You can see he's a little cautious
faith
here.
That he's going to get back in that water. I hope it wasn't too much faith.
Yeah, I know.
Got him. Dry past it.
This is where you don't count whistles, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you blow.
Smelled that.
If you got to
that
blow
poison
100, you
bird.
blow 100 of them.
Amen. Boy, this wind has really, really changed. A lot of scent coming off of both
You've got
those
everybody in the gallery and around. I don't think anybody's sitting down. Everybody's on their toes for these crucial points in this blind. Everybody's kind of holding their breath and waiting for Shooter to get past this spot.
God, you're trying so hard to read this dog's intent. He's angling toward the poison bird, but not heavy.
That wind's getting a little heavy.
He's got to be getting a nose.
When's he going to smell it? You want to get
Sees it right there. Good whistle.
Gave him a big verbal sit, I believe.
Interesting. Well,
now you're going to see him.
Now he's got to get
verbal
dry.
left straight up. Yep. But he went turn.
He gave it right.
Right verbal straight up.
Tweet.
Got to get him dry here. Got one shot. If you go past it, doesn't count. Got
There
it.
you go. So you talk about getting an opportunity to play it a little safer and just try to catch the tip of that point.
That was a good. Look at him. Look at him getting himself in position. He don't want to lose him around the corner.
Good handle.
I'll tell you what. If you don't appreciate that effort, you don't appreciate good dog handling, because
that's right.
That was somebody fighting for their life when the test got really tough.
And that also shows that this young man, a lot like the young man sitting up here with us, is definitely a dog man and wise beyond his years.
That's right.
You got to have that don't be denied attitude. That's that. They talk about not intangibles in athletes. That's what you just witnessed there. He just wasn't going to give up.
And I think another huge intangible is the ability to just be able to read that dog and communicate with him as a team, and understand the nuances of each one of them. Luke, you've been excellent at that from the very beginning. I mean, that's a gift. It really is, and Carter has it too.
Yep, Carter's a great young man, and he's had a great job. I think, being the young man on the stage, and this is your first year, kind of really hitting the SRS hard and chasing the crown. One way to kind of fight back those nerves is you just got to channel yourself with the dog. You see Carter just keeping his eyes on his dogs the whole time. Just make it between you and the dog, and don't think about everything that's around you and all the eyes on you. You're just here for the dog, and that's it. And that's kind of what helps you keep your nerves out of the way, and keeps you focused on the end of that blind.
Yeah, I mean, that's as good as handling as you'll see at any level right there. So I just got a text from a 40-plus point all-age field trial judge, and he says, I have 40-plus all-age points, and I never thought I would say that, but this is growing on me. I'm really enjoying it.
That's awesome.
Wow, that is cool.
Well,
while we're waiting for the next dog to come up, this dog swim back, I got a text.
Picking up.
I got a text from Stacy West. He says, last night I sat down to watch setup because I missed it, and realized several hours later that I hadn't moved as I watched all 18 AMs run. You guys are doing an awesome job. Question. Ron and Rip, how hard is it keeping a dog at the top of their game? And I think, Ron indicated today that it's a lot of work these days. And, he certainly has a ton of faith in Rip, but Ron kind of indicated that he let Rip down. After watching Rip a whole bunch, with all respect to Rip, I just don't think Rip was completely on top of his game this weekend.
How old is Rip?
4 years old. I believe Rip is the youngest dog to ever win the Crown Championship at 3.
He is.
And so when you have a young dog like that, young dogs tend to have more peaks and valleys than an older dog tends to plan out and kind of figure things out. And you're just trying to get them to peak at the right time. And you're just hard to do when you're working with animals.
I think they're just like athletes.
But they're at that age. There's gonna change. Gonna happen.
Yep.
So you're not. The 5-year-old dog is different than that 3-year-old naive dog.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to make some adjustments.
Yeah. Second question. With today's scoring system, do you ever see a time where there's a dog that's going to come close to one of the all-time low scores for a Crown Series? For instance, Dana Juvenile, our judge here in 2003 in the Great Outdoor Games, had a 2. And also, I remember Stacy and Abby at 2005 at Oak Lawn Park in the Crown Championship. They had a series where they had a 2. I don't know about you. I want to hear your take on this, Luke, but I don't think you'll ever see. I'd be amazed to ever see a 2 again in a Crown series.
I think it just depends. I think the judges are always gonna. I don't think the judging necessarily has changed as much as the difficulty of the test sometimes. The dog, we've learned to put birds in places, but you still see 2s and 4s in some of the weekend tests, and I think even though it's the Crown, I think they're still going to judge to that standard. If a dog can go out there and front foot the birds, you might get the opportunity to front foot the birds.
I
think Dude was probably the last dog that we saw get a 2 in the Crown, which was, I don't know, that last Crown he won. I can't remember the year. Shannon shared the video.
That was in Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah. Sharon shared that video the other day. And in the second series, Dude had a 2 in the field trial series.
I think it was 8 or 9. It's been about 15 years, I believe, since we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
That was inspirational handling, my son. That was great.
Now we have Justin Hergert and Chief. Chief is, again, one of those all-around dogs. He's one of the few field champion and Grand Hunting Retriever champions that also has the Super Retriever Series champion title.
This is the first handler that's had the dog face them directly.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got him in a front finish position right now.
They may not be facing him but after these shots go off.
You see that tail's getting happy. Got those Peyton Manning happy feet. He's slowing him down.
So he went past the decoy but came back.
So he's okay.
Isn't that true?
Yep. But he's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes when a dog hears a quick whistle like that, when they're headed towards a corner of water, they might be thinking they're going to get recalled. So that his first instinct was to start coming back. Justin handled that very well and slowed down and got Chief to sit and let him relax for a minute and regain his focus.
We've definitely seen Justin demonstrate the old adage here: handle a fast dog slow and a slow dog fast. I mean, you tell he was ready to go.
See him look over there? Boy, this is a critical cast right here.
This is really when you want a dog that turns left.
Yeah.
That's your left turn.
Oh,
he
nice.
missed it.
Did he miss it?
It looked to me like he missed it.
I thought he barely got it.
It's gonna be that's gonna be a discussion.
Over in the gallery on both sides to our left, our right, I heard, did he miss it? Yeah. So we're not the only ones wondering or having that discussion.
That's gonna be a discussion there.
Well, you got to put that out of your mind now. As a
That's
handler.
right.
You
That's
gotta,
right. You got to
gotta
focus
do
on
this
the
water
next
blind.
piece and focus on the water blind and get through it.
We got to be getting down towards the end now, don't we?
Yeah, this is. I think we've got 2 dogs left. This one and one more. Yep. So we have Chief and it's running now, and then Cappy will be our last dog of this series.
I get a feeling we're sitting about online for the next test.
Yep. I think it's pretty close.
Went over and spoke to the gallery to the right here, and the consensus there was he missed it, but nobody could say for certain. Nobody wanted to put a wager
That's
on it.
right.
What was the call in the field?
Yeah.
They're all wanting to see the instant replay right now.
That's right. That challenge flag, Pat.
The previous play is under video review.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I said.
Got dry.
All right.
I think he knows he's really got to attack this water blind now.
Oh, you bet. I've watched him do that.
Squaring the dog up.
Chief of the
Is that a
field
cast?
No. Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
I don't know if it matters, but as a judge, do you judge that as a cast?
You know, some of them might, some of them might not.
I would think that most judges, as long as you don't give a come-in whistle, would not look at that as a cast.
I've honestly never seen that done. I've done it in training a bunch, but I just never seen it done in this situation. But
if they do consider it a cast, even though he didn't blow the whistle, they've got to give him 2 points because the rule book says that all casts must be preceded by a whistle.
Right. Oh. All right.
Man, they're all
It's crunch
falling.
time now.
I didn't think we'd see this many fall into the danger zone.
He's putting a lot of whistles on him, man. You're just trying to keep him in the I'm in control mode. Good voice here. All right. Dog started to come in a little bit there. I think this dog's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, he's not real sure if he wanted to get on the point or if he wants him to swim by.
Well, he's
You see
getting
the
mixed
dog
signals.
thinking.
He can't. He
Yeah.
said,
You can see the dog thinking.
all right, he's going to get it. Now, is he going to get... Oh, come on, baby. Come on.
Oh.
Oh, we got a good stop. Look at that.
You hear a collective groan from the gallery to our right.
I think everybody's on their toes right now.
I can't sit down.
Come on, baby, run to the right there. I guess he sees
Got a
him.
very fortunate turn. The dog has been turning to his left, but he turned to his right, and it worked out in Justin's favor big time. But he's still not done yet.
You can take a sigh here, but you better not let down. Chance to catch your breath a little bit.
And one in the RV.
Gotta finish.
Wrong side of the
Be careful,
wheel.
my friend. Be careful. All right. Should get you the bird.
There we go. We got it.
Whew.
Had a little bit of a rough time around that point, but he finished the blind and had a pretty good run.
We had to do this. I mean, we're based on what we've been watching.
Yeah.
This is where the blind turns into a survival blind. You just gotta survive.
You know, Chief's a field champion, has some trial experience, and I'm sure he's seen blinds like that in all age events and all age training. Chief was trained by Justin and owned by Justin, but he had the help of JD Babb over at Booyah Retrievers to help him put that field champion title on him. They worked together and got that done.
JD's a good, promising young professional.
Yes, he is. JD's a great guy down in the Baton Rouge area.
Super nice guy. Night before last, we ate at the same restaurant, and when we went to pick up the tab, they had just left, and the waitress said, that young man sitting at the table beside you has already got it. There is no tab. I thought that was super classy and gracious of Justin. Thank you for dinner, Justin.
Looks like JD's starting to make a move into the all-age stuff a little bit consistently.
He's been doing well. He qualified. I think he had qualified for the last two nationals and made it to the 9th series in the Texas National with Boo. He had a really good trial going.
Well, no, you've started.
She was, what, 6 or 7 weeks pregnant?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful bitch, by the way.
Yeah,
I've watched her, and I just thought she was really
I think
special.
he just won an open with a young dog out of Boo, another one of Justin Williams' dogs, B.
Yeah, I trained a litter mate of that dog that I liked a lot.
Now you've started to run some opens, haven't you, Luke?
Yeah, we've been running in the trial game this year, and we've done pretty well. We titled 2 dogs with the field champion, Bang and Henry, and then we got Bang qualified for the National Open, and then got a handful of dogs qualified all age. So we had a pretty good year in the field trial game. We've been enjoying it. I get the opportunity to learn from Danny Farmer as much as I can, and so he's helped me a lot stepping into that all age level.
Have you handled to an open win?
Yeah, we got the open win with Bang this year, and then we went the first 2 trials of the fall. We went the first trial we got first, and the second trial we got second to qualify for the national. So it was pretty
fantastic.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
I did not know that. I'm
That's
very proud of you and for you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
I tell you, the hardest open win is your first.
Yep, that's right. And Danny was there, and Danny goes, "Congratulations, you got your first win, but I'm not letting you do that anymore."
May I ask how old are you, Luke?
I'm 28.
Excellent.
Not a lot of guys under 30 pros can say they've won an
bet.
open. And I doubt there are hardly any that can say they've won an open competing against Danny.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. He was my arch nemesis for so long. I just couldn't get over the hump, but I tell you, it's those guys that inspire you to work harder and train harder.
That's right. He does, and and Danny's still out there every day working hard, and you try to outwork him, but it's hard to. He's there working and dawn to dark, taking care of those dogs, and puts everything he's got into it. there's a lot more that comes behind those blue ribbons than just coming to the trials. You know, like you said yesterday, the work that nobody sees pays off when everybody's watching.
Yep.
And Danny's definitely got that.
So when Danny first started and Judy Aycock was here in Shreveport, Danny was in Monroe, and he would come over every week and train with Judy right here in Shreveport.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think he had a dog named Farmer's Black Babe. That was his own dog then.
Yeah, so it was kind of the Hand Gym crew and the Vinwood crew were the two top in the field trial world for a long time. And the SRS crew is kind of you would say it's probably the Castile Creek crew and the Taylor Farm with Lyle Steinman and Steve Endurance. They've always kind of held the top. You always see them in the finals in the Crown. They're our top competitors. They do a great job.
Yeah. Well, you just got to love those high-end rivalries.
That's right. That's right. You know, it's kind of one of those deals when you go to a trial, you may not win, but as long as you beat one of those top guys, you feel like it's a win.
Oh, it's a thrill of competing. I mean, that really is what it's.
Now we've got Cappy and Carter Turner. Cappy was in the top 3 of our team of the year this year. I believe he got second. Cappy's an incredible dog. Him and Carter have had a great year and been a very consistent team.
They come in here in first place, so they will be our last dog to run the 3rd series. Don't go away when they get done with this water blind. We will be recapping the scores before we move on to our 4th.
I don't know if it's going to hold, but there's another little wind shift that just happened. It laid down a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely dying right now.
Almost feels it's at the handler's back for a second, but you don't know what's happening out there.
Looking at the ripples on the water, I
Yeah,
don't think it's changed that significantly. I think
It's kind of
still
coming back left to right.
quartering into your face from left to right.
Nobody's saving whistles now.
Nope.
No, he's 80, and I've been counting them.
Keeping him tight.
All right.
Dip in there. Attaboy. The finish.
What in the world prompted that dog to make that break underneath there?
I think they see that gap.
It was. Don't.
The tail just went up. I believe he smelled it and he's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. That was a great line.
Well, I'll say.
9, 10 whistles, but I really didn't see any blatant cast refusals at all in there. Just working it.
No, he was
attacking
just managing that. And you know, sometimes you blow a few extra whistles on this blind to prepare you for the next.
That's right.
That's right.
Oftentimes on a double blind, I want to establish a pattern of control that'll help you on the next one. And whether that was his motivation or not, I don't know, but we'll see if it helps. Wind kicking back up.
Yeah, that left to right wind's blowing.
Your first read is, what does he do right here?
Set him down steady.
He could have cast with him standing up, but that little added discipline there is probably going to pay off.
He got a heck of a cast there, but now he's got to get 4 feet dry.
Which he did.
He does. Yep, he's in there where he needs to be.
Get that second whistle in there. Good cast.
Really good cast. Now you're just trying to read this dog's attitude here. He's angling in towards the poison bird a little bit. Puts him on line.
Everybody's on their toes.
Good silent cast.
Come on, baby. Come on. There's the change in whistle.
Change again. You got him.
Oh, no.
Go, baby, go.
Holy
That's
moly.
a splash he had to be thrilled to see.
Oh, yeah.
Got a good turn.
Just got a text from Scott Greer, who's back out training today. Says he's enjoying it, but he had to turn the volume down because his dogs kept sitting out in the field.
All right. Let's finish this thing. You're looking good.
Yeah. Testament to how hard working Scott is, too. Went out here, headed home, and now Friday, coming the weekend, he's back in the field training hard. Good job.
Way to feed. That's how you feed it to him. That's how you finish a blind.
That was a great set of blinds for Carter and Cappy.
Oh my goodness, that really was.
That'll keep him in a sweet spot.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to keep him in first place.
Yeah.
So, the changing of the whistle. The first guy to do that was Bill Totten. You talk about Twin Bridges, Montana. Bill Totten.
Yeah, I've trained
with
on
Steve Bechtel.
Yeah,
And
Dust Devil. That's the dog I was training. Steve
Yeah.
Bechtel and Dust Devil.
And you could tell. What you could tell is when Bill was in a little bit of trouble because you'd hear beep, beep, and then he'd go to the storm whistle and you hear. I said, "Uh-oh, something's about to go wrong here." But he used a similar deal. Change whistles to maybe help him convey something different.
Now, didn't he win a national with Dust Devil Shoot the Moon?
No, Bill didn't win a national. He was a really, I think he's a Hall of Fame dog.
Yeah, Shooter was his call name, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And a great producer too.
Yeah, he was a really quality dog. Finished a lot of nationals, but he never won one.
Did you ever train on his place out there in Twin Bridges?
No, I didn't. No.
Really, really interesting place. It was on the edge of being high desert, but also had a sod farm there beside it, had a trout stream that meandered either through it or through the property right adjacent to it, which they also used for.
Well, I knew he liked the
test and
trout fish
trawl.
too, but
Yeah.
I used to love going out there and working and moving water. It really dogs got to learn to. They jump in a stream and they drift downstream and they got to compensate for it. Really, when you run nationals out there, you really got to prepare for it.
A lot of that BLM land out there is open to training too, and has moving water on it.
Well, what do you guys think? This was exciting.
This was an exciting
Oh, my
series.
goodness.
You saw a lot of jumping around, a lot of times where you were, as a handler, it was in a crucial point where you came away with the great feeling of victory or the feeling of defeat, and it was just everybody was on their toes, on the edge of their seat.
Yes, sir. Well, let's take a look at this leaderboard right now. Cappy and Carter do stay in the lead and actually extend to a really commanding lead going into the fourth series. Winston and Chuck McCall made a big move. Ball Steinman and Hatch hung in there, made up a little ground. Clark and Daisy sitting in there with a 155. Bobby Wills, 18th to 5th.
Wow.
Another great big move. Shooter managed to stay in the top 6, dropping from 2nd to 6th, I believe, if I'm counting them right there.
I think we're done with this.
Rhodey, Carter, Justin, Lyle, and Carter round out our top 12 moving forward. JJ Zeus, Cash, Chief, Trigger, and Joe. Chief took a pretty big fall, though, guys, from 2nd all the way down to 10th. I think that's the...
Yeah, I know. We're going to have one bird here.
Well, actually, I think we've lost a couple dogs in the top 6, so I can't say that's the biggest comeback. For sure.
I know one
And it's a tight race. Everybody's there close.
And now we're taking a look at our amateur scores coming from the 3rd series. And we see our top 6 there with John, Lamar, and Smokey in first place with a 149. But let me tell you, Stuart Williams and Tex, they made up a lot of ground with that 57 yesterday as well. With the 165 and hanging in there with the 180, Waylon and Mr. Ernie came in here in first place, among the amateurs, dropped to 3rd. But, looking at those scores and seeing what we've seen, guys, I believe it's still anybody's game. I mean, John and Henry obviously would have a huge hole to dig out of, but as demonstrated with Bobby, Legend just said nothing's impossible.
That's right. Not in this game. It's any dog's game at any moment. Every bird counts.
Well, if they throw the bird they're talking about, I promise you it's anybody's game.
Yeah, so to give you a brief recap, we're now 3 series in to the 2023 Super Series, Retriever Series Crown Championship. Started out with a hunt test in our first series, AKC style, field trial in the second series, whittled the field down to the top 18 amateur teams, top 18 open teams, brought them back here to the quarterfinals. Now we're about to move on to the 4th series. In the 4th series will be the semifinals. We've cut it down from 18 in each division to 12, top 12 AMs, top 12 open teams, and then we'll have the final series where we cut it down to the top 6 in each division to crown our champion. Guys, looks like we're about to wrap up here, but don't go too far away. We're going to continue right here, almost in the same spot. Probably 90 minutes on the reset, give or take, and we'll be right back on behalf of my colleagues here in the tent, Luke Coors and Pat Burns, J. Paul Jackson, signing out for a short period of time, but we'll be right back at the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba.
The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. And by the Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission, teaming up with our community to bring sporting events to Shreveport-Bossier City, Caddo, and Bossier parishes. Margaritaville Resort Casino. Louisiana Tourism, feed your soul. Thor's Boats, drop the hammer.
Splash Super Pools.
And by Lucky Duck Kennels.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
The Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission is here to help you with your amateur, collegiate, professional, or Olympic sporting event. Centrally located in the Arklatex area, Shreveport-Bossier is a premier sports destination, ideal for hosting sporting events of any size. With our wide variety of venues, including stadiums, convention centers, rivers, and universities, we are sure to have the perfect location for any event. Our team is ready to make your event a success. Visit us online at ShreveportBossierSports.com or on Facebook at Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission and let us host your next event.
Two birds of a feather. We flock together every day, and I'll do anything to protect that loyalty. Durable, dependable, and downright dirty. And I'm not just talking about my dog. This 5-star crash test rated kennel is lightweight, secure, and made right here in America. Loyalty goes both ways.
The Splash Super Pool is the original above-ground, soft-sided pool. We've been in business for almost 40 years now. We're still proudly made in the USA, and we've been serving our community in all kinds of ways. They're all testaments as to the strength and the durability of this super pool. And we've been serving the dock diving community for almost 20 years. The pool that they use is the exact same pool that you'll use in your backyard. So just remember, as you're watching these dogs fly through the air, this is the same super pool that you could have in your backyard. Splash Super Pools.
Super Retriever Series Crown Championship would like to thank all our gifting sponsors for their donations to our competitor teams.
They're partners, ready to do whatever it takes. Athletes that pound for pound can outrun, outwork, and outperform anybody you're watching on Sunday. No contract required. You don't waste that kind of potential. You train it, fuel it, unleash it. You feed nutrition that holds nothing back. The Eukanuba Premium Performance Lineup.
This is no ordinary puppy. And this is no ordinary story. This is the tale of a hero in the making. He is born, raised, and fed to rise to any challenge. Because he is no ordinary dog. He's a Eukanuba dog.
That's it. Come on, boy.
Eukanuba provides animal proteins and high levels of DHA for a strong body and mind. Feed the extraordinary in your puppy and make your dog a Eukanuba dog.
The Splash Super Pool is the original above-ground, soft-sided pool. We've been in business for almost 40 years now. We're still proudly made in the USA, and we've been serving our community in all kinds of ways. They're all testaments as to the strength and the durability of this super pool. And we've been serving the dock diving community for almost 20 years. The pool that they use is the exact same pool that you'll use in your backyard. So just remember, as you're watching these dogs fly through the air, this is the same super pool that you could have in your backyard. Splash Super Pools.
In my Louisiana, the day starts at 4 a.m. In my Louisiana, every meal is a celebration. My Louisiana really makes me wonder.
Ours is fast! With real-life swamp creatures! In my Louisiana, music is a way of life.
My Louisiana is sheer magic.
From sun up to sundown.
Till sunup again. What will your Louisiana be?
When you find your Louisiana, you feed your soul.